Find those travels as you can, as they say. What's going on, everybody? Welcome, goglings, denizens of the internet. What's going on, everybody? It is Tuesday, February 28th, 2017, the last day of the month. It's about 5 minutes after 4 Eastern Standard Time, and I am your host, Arvin Elleron. Welcome to Pen and Pixels. This is episode 70 of Pen and Pixels, a show focused on story and narrative. And before I get any further, let me be the first one to publicly, other than Outstar, who I assume has been just like pumping her fist repeatedly for the last, 10 minutes or so, but let me be the first one to publicly congratulate Outstar Walker and Memories in 8-Bit on being greenlit on Steam with cold hearts. There are going to be cold fridges in everyone's lives, so that is the key thing. And I want to point out, so congratulations to Chris, congratulations to Outstar, and I want to point out, guys, that as Memories in 8-Bit has just listed, you should put this link up again, Chris. The wish list on GOG is the next stage, folks, and if you all want to be the DRM-free quality of people that I think you claim to be, right? If you want to be the people that are all about that DRM-free life, then you need to get this thing on GOG. You need to get this thing on there pronto. You need to get on there yesterday. What else could be closer to the life of a DRM-free individual than a game about, talking sentient refrigerators? I mean, I think those things are obviously connected. And I think it's important for you to be able to do that. You must have DRM-free fridge love. That's right. Do not allow Whirlpool. Do not allow the Sears, Roebuck, Samsung refrigerators of the world to restrict you. You should have the right to appreciate fridges in many different ways. And that's what this can do. So, but in all seriousness, congratulations. That's really awesome. Couldn't be happier for you guys. I know that many of you know that they've been working on this for a long time, but we behind the scenes have seen the stuff that they've had to do and the incredible amount of work. The art that Outstar's been doing is amazing. The amount of work that Chris has been doing on the development end. So great job to both of you. And I'm super excited to see it and play it and all that kind of good stuff. So congrats, man. That's awesome. I am also happy today because we have a big stream coming up, folks. I am happy to say that today we have got Torment, Tides of Numenera on the docket. I am very pleased to be able to do a release stream of this game. I actually interviewed the folks who did this game from In Exile on my own channel last year, and I actually had a chance also to interview Monty Cook and Shauna Germain and Pat Rothfuss, who did some writing for this as well, and I was impressed with it then. I loved Planescape Torment, and this game, one of the things that got me most jazzed for it was the phrase which Polygon used, which was like probably the most effective non-combat oriented RPG or role-playing game about avoiding combat I can remember. And I'm like, yeah, it sounds like it's up my alley. So I'm really looking forward to this game quite a bit. I want to thank publicly Kilgore Trout for giving me the ability to be able to play this game on my show. Thank you, Kilgore. I appreciate it. Now the way this is going to work was I didn't quite manage to get Tyranny done in time. I have like basically 2 sessions left, I think, of that game. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play Torment today. It's going to be a release stream today. Next week on Pen and Pixels, I'm going to continue and hopefully finish Tyranny. If not, I will definitely finish it the week after that. And then I will move into Torment, and that'll be the next focused game on this channel, at least on my show, on Pen and Pixels, will be Torment. So that's what we're looking at over the next few weeks. And so, so Torment today and then back to Tyranny. I don't really know what it says about me that the last 2 games that I've played on here have been, last 3 games actually, have been Wasteland, Siege, Tyranny, and Torment. I don't entirely know what that says about my tastes or about, what the implications are in a larger sense. But anyway, apparently it's all about me playing the most bleak games I could find. No, but Torment is a little bit different than that. I don't know, Tyranny, Torment, who knows. But anyway, so release stream tonight. I hope you guys will enjoy it. I do have it posted on the game command, so if you guys click that in, you'll be able to see a place where you can order it yourself. I have attached my affiliate link to the end of it, so if you're able to do that, it'll send a few cents my way, which is always lovely. But we'll see whether or not you guys like the game or not. We will find out. Okay. And with that said, I just want to double check because I've had a few tech things. Test. Okay, good. Excellent. Everything's working. Lovely. All right. In that case, let me get rid of this and let me turn on this. There we go. Hello to everybody. I hope everybody's doing well. Welcome. And I hope you guys are looking forward to being tormented. because that's what I like to do here. I hope you guys are looking forward to it. Should be fun times. And yeah, I have played the first couple of hours of this when I was first playing a beta version of it. And so I've tested it out. It looks good. And now we are ready to go and see how this thing works. So let's make it happen. And let's get into some Torment, shall we? Over there. And here we go. Hey, Inquisitor. I may have to adjust my window, by the way, and I'll do that. Yeah, I know, right, Sparkly? Yeah, next after me is Love Luster playing Shadowrun Returns, which is badass. Great game. Techland R Publishing. Powered by Pillars of Eternity Technology. Trademark. In Exile Entertainment, we'd like to sincerely thank the over 95,000 backers and these super rich people. And then all this stuff. All right, here we go. Start. Oh, I forgot to check volume. Should have done that first. I mean, I checked it myself, but I don't know whether it's good. Will you be female or male? I shall be male.
Your mind wakes in darkness. Aching cold sets into an unfamiliar body. A distant howling surrounds you, louder with each passing second. Insistent and invisible hands slap and tear at the membrane that protects you. Your first emotion is an involuntary and formless panic. You feel you have forgotten something important, as if it once meant the world to you, but the details slip away as you grasp at them. You force your eyes open.
All right, let's look at this body.
The body is... wait, you are wearing a form-fitting suit of some dark material. You recall that you were wearing something much more elaborate a short time ago. You have smooth, light brown skin, 5 fingers on each hand, 5 toes on each foot. Good muscles, strong but not bulky, and slim hips. Your palms are soft, as if they have not done much labor, but scars and burns on the hands and wrists suggest that you haven't always been careful. Why can't you remember this? Without warning, the cocoon that surrounds you shreds and tears away. You are falling. Above you, a small moon is slowly collapsing in on itself. The world is many kilometers below you.
Well, great. Let me flatten out to catch the wind.
Instinctively, you spread your arms and legs, and they respond sluggishly. You stop tumbling head over heels. Though you are still spinning laterally, that motion has calmed as well, and you have space to assess your situation, and perhaps to understand the predicament and the body in which you find yourself.
Okay.
Below you, you see a large landmass. A massive ocean dominates the rest of the visible globe, dotted here and there with island chains. Small moons, unusual structures, and strange machines rush past you in glittering profusion as you plummet toward the ground.
Let me study the world.
Now you see that this appears to be a huge megacontinent.
Megacontinent!
The only land of any size, on this side of the world at least. Great inland seas and lakes dot the land, and curiously, regular mountain ranges march up and down and across. You are falling toward what looks to be a great bay, a sprawling city perched on its shore just to the north.
I think they mean curiously regular, not curiously regular.
Further to the north and east, you see a broad plain scattered with curious structures, visible even from this height. The northeastern portion of this land looks to be a desert, a strange blue dot like an eye in its exact center. It seems to hold a city in its watery grasp. To its west is a ring of huge mountains, surmounted by enormous carved peaks spewing magma into a central catch basin. What concerns you most right now is the bay below you. It's coming at you quickly.
I'm trying to remember what happened.
You don't seem to have any other option. You close your eyes to the world below you. Ignore the rushing of the wind past you, and concentrate. You remember that you were in the hallways of a place that wove itself through your blood, through your thoughts. The memories project themselves in your mind, a story told to you as if they happened to someone else. Yet it was your body that walked those halls, your lungs that breathed that air.
Nah, Admiral, that's just a Tuesday for me.
You were running because something was hunting you, a nightmare far more powerful than you. Were you powerful? Examining your stolen memory, you know that you were. What could have stood against you? Who wielded instruments of flame and time itself? The name is on the tip of your tongue. You were... who? Who were you? There is nothing for you to grab hold of, and the resistance of your body can only do so much.
I should try to remember more.
Insistent grasp of the earth. As you vainly try to grasp at the air, cupping your hands, you can see the watery grave that lies ahead of you.
It's like a Thursday.
But wait, you plummet toward a domed structure of glass or crystal floating in a bay, and a strangely blurred woman and a man are pointing at you. A mass of colors rushes from his outstretched arm, enfolding you, but it's too late. You were falling too fast. With a sickening thump, you destroy the glass structure.
Oops.
You hear some strange engine howl as its balance is forever altered, and then...
Yeah, I'll do that, Disculting.
darkness.
Darkness. We'll see, Glog. We'll see. Okay. Okay, before we do anything, we're gonna... No. I don't want to exit the main menu. Alright, sound. Okay, we're gonna turn this volume up a little bit. Okay. How's the, right now it's pretty quiet, guys, but how is the sound relative to this? I have 58, I have it a little bit higher than half. Sound effects 60%, voiceover 65. How does this all sound to everyone? And remember, it's quiet right now, so this may not be a perfect, you know. Jumbled thoughts cloud your head as you study the empty bowl before you. Drops of liquid fall from the ceiling, splattering on the ground next to the bowl. The light from every drop is reflected in the bowl's rounded hollow as if it hungers for that light and needs to be filled. Yet the bowl remains dry. Another drop falls from the ceiling and splashes across the pylons, wasted. Examine the bowl. You trace your fingers over the slippery overlapping scales that spiral up from the bottom of the bowl. The sharp-toothed rim plucks at your skin. It's going to be tricky to move this bowl without slicing your fingers on the edge. You might have to put some effort into it. Reflected light streaks across the surface of the bowl as another droplet falls from the ceiling. Yeah, well, half would be pretty extreme, Squid, but the voice will be higher than the music. Alright, let's move the bowl. Okay, you've encountered your first task. You have 3 stat pools, might, speed, and intellect, that you can spend to increase your chances of success. This is called using effort. To more easily move the bowl in front of you, use left-hand to spend might for a higher level of effort. Don't worry if you fail this task. In Torment, failure often results in interesting outcomes. Okay. Let's go with that. You carefully take hold of the bowl, avoiding the teeth on the serrated rim. With a deep breath, you move it over the glowing pool of fallen light. Nah, I kind of like the selection circles for right now, Duskulti. We'll see how I feel as it goes along. Drop by drop, the bowl fills, ripples spreading over the blurred outline of your reflection. A pale blue luminescence stretches into the corners of the room. A clear radiance spills across the segmented floor, washing away the nearest shadows and pouring into your mind, melting the ragged edges of your fragmented thoughts. You are not whole, not yet, but you have begun to heal from the damage done in your long fall. A voice calls out from somewhere high above, beyond the reaches of the spreading light. Hello, you still alive down there? We're up here. Build a path up to us and be careful. Okay. Let's turn that voice up. Okay, so I turned it up. I don't want us to blow ourselves away either. Okay. Let's save this as me starting. Okay. Oh wait, actually. Hold on. Wait, I don't want to do that. Delete. I want to change. Actually, let's see. use hyphens. Damn it. Okay. Alright, here we go. What do you mean it's broken? It is? Oh, Sharian, can you fix that? Yeah, sorry. Can you fix that for me? Sorry. Thanks, Sharian. Okay. Okay. Ah, we can do so the classic tab to see. Metal waves roll over the floor below, sending vibrations to the soles of your boots. The rippling surface of the bowl shines with its own light. Nah, I don't overturn the bowl, I just put the bowl there. Okay, thanks, Sharon. As soon as you touch the orb, a memory floods your mind. You stand in front of a rusted door. The air is humid and dank. You've had a moment's respite from this waterlogged hell, a bubble of stale air, your resting point. You've breathed water before, and you've lived decades beneath the waves, but this body's an air breather, and the constant pressure has been crushing you ever so subtly. Worse, your companion's mind seems to be wandering from the task at hand. He's a genius with machines, as you well know, but now he seems distracted. The device in his hands is covered in knobs, wires, and antennas. He believes it can get the two of you through the corroded door, but he's merely staring at it. Perhaps he's lost faith in his invention, but that is hardly your concern. This mission cannot be delayed. It must proceed. Nope. Cast spell. You mumble a few words, drawing power from the air around you until a solution appears in your mind. You snatch the device from his hands, rewire it, and shove it back at him. Oh, he says, examining your work. Okay, thanks, Sharian. Sorry, I was trying to improve the thing. He waves the device at the door, and the stale air of your bubble freshens as the door swings open. A dark hallway lies beyond, a passage that links the water-bordered cells and the aquatic viewing areas. What you seek lies there. Moments later, you're underwater again, your hands closing around a strange yet familiar artifact. You need it to complete something. It hovers above a pedestal, rotating in the dark water. An electric current runs through your fingers as your hand crosses the vertical plane of the pedestal, and an iridescent field coalesces so fast that the wave of pressure dazes you for a moment. The rising pulse of a sonar alarm ripples through the water. The guards won't be far behind. Let's disable the sonar pulse then. You focus on the cloudy base of the pedestal. Your fingers instinctively find the control panel for the jeweled force field, almost as if you had built it in the first place. You remove it, casting it to the side, and you reach inside to deactivate the crystals that power both the pulse and the pedestal. As you remove them, a scaly hand falls on your shoulder. Your head whips around, and you see only the inky blackness of a Piscine eye. The memory begins to fade as if you were being drawn backward through a tunnel, and you hear more pylons rising from the pit. Something is wrong. The events within the orb have settled into that gap in your mind, but the edges of it are rough, as though the memory itself is not truly yours. There's something else. A gust of sour air pulling at you like a predator inhaling the scent of its prey at the far end of a dark, whispering field. Okay. Lovely. Okay. Do we have a, I need to double check and see if we have a quick save option also. Camera speed, free combat, hybrid, quick save is F5. Okay, good. All the standards. Quick save. Let's do it. This mirror looks strange, as though what you see in it is real and you're the reflection. Okay. The light around the door's frame dims and flares like a roaring fire in a high wind. No sign or symbol tells you what might be behind this enormous door. A dull chill radiates from its bronze segmented surface, and the thick metal wheel seems frozen into place. Okay. What about here? Countless scratches and wounds mar the surface of this door. Someone made a great effort to get inside, to no avail. Apparently. You stand beside a woman on a verdant crag. Beneath the two of you is a broad plateau towering above the overgrowth far below. Strange machines have been built into the cliffside, presumably for reconnaissance or defense. A metallic disc gleams from the center of the plateau. Your self-aware humanoid machines drill into the base of the cliffs below. If you were looking for a sanctuary, and you were, desperately, this seems like the right place. I don't know about this, the woman says, her voice flat, neutral. Her face is turned away from you. What makes this place any more secure than the other ones we've found? Hidden details. Use your charm to persuade her of the merits of the site. Reminder of the time constraints. I like the idea of charm. A cloud passes over the sun as you engage her in spirited, friendly debate, pointing out the footprint of a prior world civilization whose power remains untapped. After a few minutes, she laughs, raising her hands in mock surrender. Stop! Stop! Your servitors are down there. You've already chosen this as the site, haven't you? She waits for your affirmation and says, All right, I'm convinced. The two of you sketch your plans for the sanctuary, drawing schematics and architectural diagrams. Then you descend onto the plateau to examine the open ground. The woman suggests having one of the servitors build a shelter for your time here. You try to draw one of the constructs away from its task, but it doesn't respond to your voice. When you lay a hand on its shoulder to reinforce your command, it whirls and strikes you across the face with inhuman speed. Turns back to its task, ignoring you. Your companion helps you rise, laughter in her eyes. It seems your construct has other ideas. What's the matter with it? Let's see. Use the Numenar integrated in the construct's body to overwhelm the behavior malfunction, examine the construct for mechanical faults, or look for a deeper solution. Perhaps it's an effect of the metallic disc itself. I like that. A mist falls onto the plateau as you wrap a fiber shielding mesh around the construct's skull. The mesh powers up, protecting the construct's mind from any transdimensional emissions that might be in the area. Taking a deep breath, you repeat your command. Acknowledged. It obediently trundles to the site of your new shelter. The image freezes, then fades, and you feel the memory filling the gap in your mind, blocked by jagged block. You stagger, clutching your head. Reclaiming your memories hurts. And once more, there's something else. Hairs lift one by one on the back of your neck. Something beyond this room can sense what you are doing, and is hunting you. Well, great. I think I may actually have this in the right place. I think I've got my camera in the right spot. I wasn't 100% sure, but I think that's right. Exterminate. Exactly. Alright. Save it. So obviously we're building a character as we do this, folks. A vision of a city springs up around you. Your city, in flames and under attack. Well, I mean, anything in Numenera can be weird, Sharian, right? Like the whole thing. Her defenders have fought and died all day, and still the attackers keep coming. They fight as if your destruction were demanded of them. They care nothing for mercy, surrender, or plunder. What they want is blood. But you have brought a keen-eyed companion to the top of the tower. She has seen the way to stop the invaders. You need to get her to safety, and you need to rally your defenders. But even as you turn toward the door of the tower, two of the attackers descend from a hovering machine. You don't have time to strike at them before they land. One is brutishly large, his weapon a vibrating axe. The other is slim, sheathed in glassy armor, and holding a hilt with a sizzling invisible blade. Your companion backs away. She's too young to help. Your enemies advance single file, confined by the parapet. Yeah, I would say to a degree, Pyron Jade, and there's a little bit of tyranny in this too, obviously. A little bit. Let's see. Trade blows with the giant. You can handle it for at least a strike or two. Hell no. Duck under the giant's swing attack before he can strike, or fight defensively, figure out who presents the greater threat. There you go. The memory seems crystal clear. The giant is menacing, it's true, but the invisible blade of his companion is more worrisome still. The energy field that flickers and wavers around it suggests that she can carve matter at the molecular level, tearing pieces of her target into nothingness. If you're to save yourself, your best bet is to tackle her first. She's stuck behind the giant, waiting her turn to attack you, unable to bring her weapon to bear until he's out of the way. But it's clear that she expects him to handle you, and her eyes rove behind you, her focus on your ward. She's clearly not expecting you to dive between the giant's legs and come up inside her guard. She can't bring her blade to bear in time, and you drive your dagger up under her chin. You catch her before her deadly blade drops onto you and spin her around. The weapon slashes into the giant, and he topples, bisected. Nice. The immediate threat ended, you focus on finding a way back to your allies. You open the tower door and rush down the stairs. The door at the base of the stairs is slightly cracked, opening just a bit into the hall, and you hear more of the enemy soldiers beyond. Hurl yourself against the door, knocked into the ground. Crack the door open to sneak past them, or charge through them, counting your defenses to protect you. It's a little stealthy. You press yourself against the gleaming door, easing it open, and your breath catches in your throat as it squeaks quietly, the sound like a bell in your memory. You pause, but the soldiers in the hall continue to talk. You push again, squeeze yourself through the narrow opening, and creep down the blood-stained hall. The memory begins to fade, and you find yourself back in your own body. Your temples throb with the racing force of your heartbeat, and the reclaimed memories blaze within you like a bonfire on a mountain peak, visible to every predator for kilometers around. Well, great. A tremor rocks the floor beneath you as though a massive fist has struck the room itself. Swaying on your feet, you see frantic movement within the borders of a mirror at the edge of the room. Okay. Lovely. Let's quick save that. The border of this mirror is lavishly decorated with a dizzying number of interlocked symbols. Daggers, masks, paintbrushes, amulets, and more. But that's nothing compared to what you see in the glass. You see a vast crowd of people, exact doppelgangers of you, shoving, arguing with, and fighting each other. Most are drab imitations of you, but a precious few are vivid and pull at your attention. Each of them bears an intricate pentagonal tattoo on their head. Okay, so this is basically all just a bunch of Outstar walkers, right? This is the GOG Green Room on a daily basis. It's just like this. In their eyes, their actions, you see the memories you discovered within the orbs and the choices you made shining like distant stars. Your hand twitches at your side, and though some of the bright doppelgangers ignore you, an even smaller number immediately turn to you, waiting for you to choose them and learn what you might become. A rumble shakes the room, and a slow vibration spreads from the darkness below, rippling towards the ceiling. All right, let me point at the slick doppelganger that's smooth-talking the others. With a roguish grin, the doppelganger drops a few pilfered coins and makes its way over to you, slipping a dagger from a hidden sheath on its wrist. It flicks the dagger high into the air. Winking at you, it catches the weapon by the blade between its thumb and forefinger and whips it at your head. You nearly duck before realizing the dagger is still in its hand. At your reaction, the doppelganger apologizes so smoothly you forget you were even mad. Okay, that looks pretty good. The doppelganger spins the dagger back into its sheath and waits for your decision. Okay, let me see what the other choice is. Strong-willed. Reaches the other side of the mirror and touches its side of the glass. The surface blurs and a vision unfolds before you. The doppelganger is shackled at the center of a vast arena beneath the hulking shadow of an executioner. Unbowed by the jeers of the savage audience, the doppelganger speaks forcefully, frighteningly of what will come after its death and the consequences thereof. The mob's shouting dies one voice at a time. Then, in perfect silence, the doppelganger meets the executioner's eyes. Trembling, the brute swings his axe and severs the doppelganger's chains, setting it free. The arena fades away, replaced by the squabbling group. The strong-willed doppelganger lowers its hand and awaits your decision, its chin high and proud. Okay, so basically we're talking intimidation versus persuasion. I think I'm going to go with persuasion there. That's who I am. The remaining doppelgangers scatter for the edges of the mirror and vanish. Your chosen identity steps forward. Its appearance changes as it steps out of the rippling glass. Its face exudes intelligence and confidence. Shadows of several devices shimmer all around it, technology of several kinds from a myriad of past ages. You get the feeling you, would be comfortable with all of it. The word nano sounds in your mind. Gain descriptor slick. I mean, Numenera is kind of tech, is the thing. Numenera is kind of like a magic, as Sharian says, a kind of magic tech post-apocalypse thing. Oh, really, Avatar Blade? Yeah, I only had 2. I assume from my previous choices kind of led up to this. The UI looks completely fine to me. I mean, it's very modern, but to me, Numenera is like that. I mean, it's kind of a weird combination thing, so. Your doppelganger continues walking, stepping into you, filling you, making you whole. Your decision rings out into the cavernous room, awakening and unlocking vast mechanisms behind the walls. Suddenly, a grotesque noise rings through your shared worlds like a bell if bells could rot. I love that, like a bell if bells could rot. That's cool. Something is coming. Restored 1 might pool. Okay, so the might that I used before is now restored. The mirror fades, leaving a dark, open doorway. Take a deep breath and step through. Okay. Character creation. Your choices and the memories in the mirror have begun to build your character, but now you have the opportunity to decide on a number of details. First, you can decide to change your type. Type defines the abilities and skills you'll be able to acquire as you advance. Okay. So, what have we got? We've got Nano, mage, wizard, sorcerer, witches by the people of the Ninth World. Nanos master the mysteries of the past to the degrees that they seem to perform miracles using esoteries, spell-like invocations that combine gestures. Hey, what's up, G-Pudding? Command words and psychic disciplines. They tap into nanospirits, numerous particles that suffuse the landscape to alter reality or learn things they couldn't otherwise know, okay? Glaive, that's the elite warrior of the Ninth World, weapons and armor, scouts, guardians, warlords, soldiers. High might, armor and weapons, yeah, no. Jack are intrepid explorers and adventurers, jacks of all trades. Wily, resourceful hero, at their best when they combine weapons, armor, esoteric ciphers, and a clever tongue. Yeah, this is rogue, and I'm not really feeling the rogue. I want to do nano here. Okay, so this gives me flex skill. Oh, that's interesting. That's the most flexible. Yeah, I really want to be a sorcerer. I don't know why. Okay, let's see. +1 training and concentration skill. Okay, nanos get a free level in concentration. Cipher limit. Practice with handling ciphers allow you to carry more without risking ill effects. I assume all this will make sense at some point. And onslaught. Choose a damage type. Deal 5 damage of that type. Confer a minor additional effect based on the choice. 1 damage per effort applied. Defended by willpower. Consumes action. Has to attack assail your foes' bodies or their minds with a blast of summoned energy. Okay. And I get +2 intellect, 2 points to distribute to any pool, +5 health at each tier after first, 2 abilities at each tier, can pick 1 lore skill at tier 1. Just for curiosity's sake, what does this do? Opportunist ends turn immediately. Practiced in armor. Or flex skill. Yeah, let's go with that. Alrighty. Now, let's see. Concentration. So, persuasion. I definitely want more persuasion. Concentration. Quick fingers. Okay. Good. Alright. Stat pool is the resources used to apply effort or activate abilities. You can distribute points as you see fit. Glaives tend to favor might or speed. Nanos favor intellect. Jacks usually benefit from a balanced set of points. Yes, I will be all about that intellect then. Let's see. Might, character's physical strength and resilience, right? Speed represents character's dexterity reaction times. Intellect represents mental prowess, willpower, and personality. Let's throw a couple of points in intellect, although I am going to want to put points overall in speed, so I'll need to think about that. But speed and intellect is what I'm setting this guy up to do. Okay, abilities unlocked by your type can be active actions, such as attacks or spell-like esoteries or unique passive effects, okay? 2 points remaining. So, scan thoughts. The surface thoughts of most people or creatures you speak with appear in conversations. Yes, I remember doing this. This is awesome because you can sometimes hear their thoughts. Helpful, often helpful, though rarely appreciated. Yes, I'm definitely doing that. It basically gives you more conversation options and gives me more info. So, yes, scan thoughts for sure. And then resourceful, +1 training level in cipher use skill allows you to carry additional ciphers. You know how to handle your cipher? I don't know about that. Innervate, remove all negative fettles, which excludes flanking and lasting damage. Okay, it basically removes debuffs then. And it allows to heal them. Okay, healing's good. Adaptation, gain protected. Surround your allies with a cloud of nanospirits. Okay. And quantum step, teleport one ally to a point within range. Yeah, no. So, it's really between resourceful. I think it's like we're talking about innervate. I don't like quantum step. It's adaptation or innervate. So basically, heal or adaptation. Perception's also pretty good. Where do you see perception, though? Oh, is that from before? Where do you see perception? Is that like later? Well, we'll see. So for 1 point, I'm thinking... I like the fettles because of the heal action also, so I think I'm going to go with that. Although I like the adaptation idea, but... Okay, most skills include your chance of success in specific kinds of action and tasks, but some give other passive bonuses. Each skill starts at the novice level and can be increased to trained and specialized, granting greater bonuses at each level. Oh, you might only get it with observant. Oh, okay. Descriptors often leave some skills at the blah 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 ability level, meaning they inflict penalties. When upgraded, these return to the novice level. Okay. So in other words, I get penalties for this stuff. Alright, so exploration skill. Okay. So, Lore machinery, academic knowledge of machines, mechanics, and the physical sciences. Okay, maybe. Lore mystical, academic knowledges of sciences not exactly physical nor natural, including strange or transdimensional creatures. I'm leaning towards that. Or natural lore, natural science of physical creatures. Nah. Mystical lore. What I'm talking about. Okay. Only glaives receive training in weapon skills. Too bad, so sad. Okay. Although you chose your descriptor from among the many doppelgangers in the mirror, you now have the chance to view the special bonuses and penalties it grants. You can also examine the effects of other descriptors and choose a new one if you wish. Okay, so fast talker and a fast thinker. Not the toughest around, but you can usually manipulate situations such that you don't need to be. Alright. That's slick, right? What else we got? Cautious. Cautious and meticulous, always aware of your surroundings. Smooth talker and a charmer. I like that. Clever, quick-witted, and a good judge of others. Can fool people and rarely fool yourself. Nah, I don't think so. Graceful is more rogue. Intelligent would be nice for my intelligence. Learned, that's possible. A few social graces, Mechanical, gift for the machines and technology of the ancients. No. Mystical, training level in lore, mystical skill, training level, gift for the Numenara, good with artifacts, not people. There's observant. That's what you were talking about, Descalte. 1 training level in perception skill, training level in concentration. -1 in running, because you're too busy looking at details. Rugged, that's for about nature, life in the wild, no. Slick, persuasion and quick fingers. I don't like the quick fingers thing. I'm not going to be a thief. Stealthy is possible. Strong, physically powerful, a presence to match. No. Strong-willed. That's the whole intimidation. Swift. That's rogue again. Tough. That's tank. No. Wrathful. No. So, charming. I guess that's probably closest. Because I don't want to lose... The thing about charming is I don't want to lose willpower or intellect, especially as I'm building them. So I'm going to go with slick. I think I was right all along. Okay. Let's do it. Wait a second. Let me make sure. Slick, nano. Confirmed. Do it. Attacking is rarely the only solution to a crisis. Try interacting with objects in the environment or talking to your foes. Sounds good. Epic ludical, yes. Whoa. Everything about this spectral figure seems dreamlike. He's a hazy silhouette who seems to be made of blue glass smoke. He wears stylish, well-cut clothes. His handsome, bearded face seems hauntingly familiar, though you've never seen him before. He breathes a sigh of relief when he sees you. We weren't sure that would work. We pulled our strength and channeled it through me to reach you, to wake you up. It took more out of them than we thought. The other reflections, they're more like shadows now. Look, I'll bet you've got a lot of questions. This whole place is basically your mind. Your body's still out there in the real world healing from that fall. You need to get out there and finish the process. Shouldn't be too hard. Let's see. Who are you? I'm you. I'm a part of your mind, a splinter. I was waiting here for you. We called you with the memories of the others who were here. I don't know what happened next. Before I met you, it felt like something was hunting me. Do you know what it was? That's a memory I don't want to recall. Large, black, furious. It's our death. It's the sorrow. I hope it's lost interest in you. If it finds us, we're done for. You said I had to finish the process. What do you mean by that? After you wake up from this dream state and attune to the tides, you'll need to find something called a resonance chamber. After you do the following stuff, none of which is going to make any sense to you. Your body should have landed somewhere near it. Just climb inside that and everything will be fine. What do you mean attuned to the tides? Tides are like a force, like gravity or magnetism or something, except they respond to people's actions and perceptions. Your body, well, that is your body in the real world, needs the tides to survive. It's not something you need to worry about. Your body will attune as it wakes up. Okay, what the hell is a resonance chamber? I remember pieces about it, but not the whole. It's a crystal sarcophagus. I remember it having 5 mechanical arms around it and a metal ring set in the floor. I think we we were aiming for it when we fell. When you open your eyes in the real world, it should be nearby. Who are those other people? You call them reflections? That's what they are. As I said, it's your mind. You'll find reflections of people you knew, people you met in the real world and with whom you shared some kind of psychic connection. I don't know how or why, it just happens. If this place is my mind, why don't I remember any of this? Any of you? There you go, Admiral. Exactly, pay to escape your mind. It's your mind. A construct built to, I don't know, share thoughts? Store your true self? Oh wait, you know how people say, in the first place? This is definitely the first place of your memory. Well, it was the first place for me anyway. You'd probably know better since it's yours. If you don't remember now, maybe it'll come to you later. How do you know all this, all that you're telling me? I'm just a part of you. I look at you and I know. This place was made for you, for us. And I remember pieces of knowledge that come to me when you ask your questions, but that's all. Okay, so how do I get back to the real world? There's a portal down there. It'll take you back to your body. Just step through it and the whole tides thing should take care of itself. When you wake up, find the resonance chamber and activate it. Then we can... What in the hells is that? Oh, crap. Oh, God. Well, crap. Gods, it's the sorrow! Oh, damn it. The sorrow was anchored to those reflections. It's devouring their power. Oh, great. We have to get rid of them, destroy its anchors, or else the sorrow will erase us forever. Crisis initiated. Oh, and I can't save. Kill the reflections anchoring the sorrow to your mind, okay. Alright, a crisis begins when you enter into a dangerous situation. Crises are turn-based encounters where you can fight, sneak, manipulate the environment, or talk your way out of trouble. Each turn you can take one action to attack or activate an ability. You can make one move. Reflection here, you kill it, you'll loosen the sorrow's anchor. Okay. Use this to attack an enemy or move to a position. Try-click on the highlighted character now. Effort can be applied to attacks to increase your chance to hit. There you go. As with other tasks, each level of effort increases your chances by 20% at the cost of 1 point from the stat pool. Unarmed attacks use speed, but other weapons and abilities may use might or intellect instead, okay? Can't do anything else to it? Alright, well I really want to hit this thing. Sorry, Broseph. The sorrow's turn. What in the... It's escaping! It's gonna hide inside your mind! Oh, damn it. No, run! Get to the next one. Okay. You could sacrifice the blah action for the turn to double move instead of attacking. Nice, the double move. Movement preview line turns purple when over a position that requires a double move. Okay. Can I use magic on this thing? Alright. Onslaught. Or Innervate. Now let me save that. When you apply effort, I know about that already. Make sure I kill this thing. Hey, what's up, Top? Don't tell me what to do, me. Sorrow infection? What is it doing now? It's infecting it somehow. Fettles are temporary conditions or status effects that can improve or reduce a character's stats. Sorrow is just placed a fettle in the remaining reflection. Can't remove this fettle, but you may find a way to overcome it. Yes, I can remove this fettle. I have something called Innervate, son. Oh, goddamn, it's not an ally. Well, crap. Begins with tentacles. You've just been XCOM'd. No, I'm joking. It was the armor. Armor stat reduces physical damage. Absorb 10 points of damage from each attack. Too high for you to overcome with your unarmed attack. Skist. The reflection's protected somehow. You need to find a way to hit it even harder. Alright, well I can do that. Hello, TX Anderson. Grab that piece of mirror glass. It might have enough residual energy to kill the reflection. Alright. To pick up loot, use a highlighted object, click take all or double click, alright? Take all. To activate an item, left click on the item's icon in the bar above your portrait, then click on the character you want to target. Choose an enemy. Zap! GTFO, Sorrow. What's up, Gross? Okay. You pried it loose! That thing is a cancer, an infection. It's unstoppable, but you stopped it. I can't believe it found us. In here. That thing. The Sorrow. It's been hunting you. It's what killed you in the first place. It'll keep hunting you until you activate the resonance chamber. I didn't remember until I saw it, but that's why the chamber's so important. You have to get back and activate the chamber before it's too late. The portal to your body is that shimmering dome there. Go, now! I'm gonna quick save first, son. It was unstoppable, yeah. Whoa.
Where did he fall from? His body smashed to talc. It's a wonder he's still breathing.
All I saw was the corona, not his origin point. But look, he's healing already. Spontaneous regeneration.
Look at, wait, I know that face. One thing I want to note is that when I played this last year, that sequence we just went through was a lot longer. That whole sequence, like, they sent out little shadow creatures, and you had to basically go around this lab and to feed it to the creatures. It took a lot longer, and I actually thought it dragged a little bit. So this is a lot more refined. That's pretty cool. So this is, they cut it down significantly, which is good. What was that? What would you do, Calistega? The first thing, I hope that's how you pronounce that. The first thing you notice is this man's kaleidoscope of tattoos writhing across his forearms. He wears a long, dark coat, belted at the waist, supplies filling the pockets. His boots are worn and stained with years of travel. You blame me? He emitted an eternal physiological reaction in response to the fall, probably related to that fantastic healing process. Obviously, Alagurn. Her voice rolls and hisses, and you have to rub your eyes to be sure you're not seeing double. Faint echoes of her actions trail from her, each nearly mimicking her, though some act and react to stimuli that you can't perceive. Her vivid hair and outrageous clothing remain constant through these shadows. I don't have a problem with the writing so far. Kalistish? Or Kalistish? That really? That Kalistiga with a G-E... C-A-L-L-I-S-T-E-G-E is Kalistish? Wow. Interesting that they're getting E-E-A-S-H out of E-G-E, but okay. Kalistish. Alright, thank you. Oh yes, it's obvious, Kalistish. You're no ordinary mortal, we know that much. Start talking. And then this is the part that I was talking about. You can scan thoughts. So because I took that ability, these things in orange are things that I can see what they're thinking. He's the changing god. Kalistish is deliberately blinding herself, but why? Who are you? Dominant tides have shifted. If you don't remember who I am, you're more self-centered than I ever imagined. Silver tide raised a tiny amount. Okay. You know he's not the changing god, Alagurn. And then her thoughts, Alagurn's being more paranoid than usual. How long must I put up with him? It's his face. I've never seen any other people rebuild themselves like that. Only the changing god could have healed so quickly. Maybe you could help me for a change? You know what this means to me. You're familiar with the word changing, Alagurn? It implies inconstancy. Thus the changing god may well have changed. You'll have to forgive him. I like this several versions of her shrug. You'll have to forgive him. He believes you're someone he once knew, even though it's painfully obvious to anyone that you're newly born. I, and my sisters, am Kalistish. This is Alagurn. We're explorers, knowledge seekers. That's how we came to be in this room. If I'm not mistaken, you are what we call a cast-off. The changing God created you, body and mind. Your sire used your body for a time, then abandoned it for reasons of his own. When his mind departed for a new experience, you were born in his cast-off shell. Who is the changing God? Ha! That's something coming from you. The changing God is your sire, dear. He discovered a path to immortality long ago, a means to transfer his self to a new body of his own creation. I don't think he knew, however, that when he abandoned one body, another mind was birthed to fill the void. Oh, he knew all right. The only thing the changing God cares about is himself. He doesn't give a single thought for those he leaves behind. And then in his thoughts, he sees us as experiments, not humans. Alright, let's see. Where are we? What is this? Actually, are there other cast-offs? Dozens? Hundreds? Who can say? Your sire's been doing this for several centuries. What's up, Lord? Actually, you know what? This needs an echo, I think. Though if all of them were born the way you claim to have been, it's a wonder any of them survive. Okay. So you say I was born when the changing God left, but why am I not dead? I used a cipher to slow your fall further, but the damage still would have killed an ordinary person. But think about it. If you're the kind of person who can make your body into anything you want, what do? If you've constructed bodies for centuries, you want to make each one better than the last. You want to live forever, not going to let your life end by accident. No, you'll make strong bodies, fast, powerful. Maybe throw in regeneration while you're at it. Good to see you, Blur. The changing God has always been vain. He rarely stays long in a shell that doesn't suit his self-image. Perhaps the changing God fled because he didn't want to wear those scars of yours. Let's see. The changing God abandoned my body. Where is he now? If he abandoned your body, then his consciousness fled to another. Gross. Oh, do stop. If there's one thing we know about the changing God, dear, it's that he always has a contingency. This child was born here. The object of your obsession will have been reborn somewhere else. Can you be sure this body's a cast-off? You mean aside from your miraculous reformation? For one thing, there's your tattoo. All cast-offs have one, though its purpose is beyond me. And then, of course, there's your delicious naivete. You could be faking it. You don't live hundreds of years without learning to lie convincingly. Yeah, it's good to have you back, Blurb. Oh, what do you think? Are you a newborn child, or are you a powerful immortal whom death has robbed of his memories? Fine. What do you think? And thoughts. This should be interesting. I survived that fall of skills and powers I don't recall learning. What if I am the changing God? There's so much I don't know or remember. I think I must be a cast-off. You obviously knew the changing God, Aligern. What do you think? Am I him? Ask him. That is just the kind of question he would ask. Okay. You carry yourself with the same arrogance, that glint of knowing everything about our world and the worlds before it. Your personality, that's very much the same. Okay, blue tides. So the silver and blue tides have been raised so far. I still don't know what that means, but we'll find out. If you're not him, you're his God's damn spitting image. You'll have a lot to answer for from a lot of people. People like me. And what are you basing that conclusion on, Aligern? Your feelings? God, you're so rancid sometimes, Calistiche. What was that blast of energy when I woke? As I was telling my colleague, it was obviously a physiological reaction of some kind. I'd never witnessed the birth of a cast-off, but yes, it could very well have been caused by your nascent consciousness. Well, don't worry, I don't believe it caused any real harm. Not to me, at least. Really? You've been more abrasive than ever since we came in here. She just can't empathize with other people unless she's experimenting on them. You sure that surge didn't hurt you? If it did, it was damage in our minds. Though how you check if it carked her, I couldn't say. Tough to find normalcy there. At least we know it doesn't hurt. Yeah, let me start again. At least we know it didn't hurt Aligern. That skull's as thick as organic stone. Scone, blown, scones. You know anything about the tides? I've heard that term before. A subject your sire studied in great depth. I'm afraid it isn't my field of inquiry. What the body's like again. Powerful and beautiful. Okay, let me ask about something else. Changing God, cast-offs. Cast-off body. No, I did that already. Before I woke, I was in some kind of dreamlike labyrinth with a glowing specter. With how hard you hit the ground, I'm surprised that's all you saw. Why do you seem to hate the changing god so much? You should know, shouldn't you? You've ruined lives, committed crimes. Now it seems like you've forgotten the harms you've engineered. You've left a trail of the dead and dying behind you. He's not the changing god, Aligern. Alright. Falling from the sky didn't kill me. Is there anything that can? An excellent question. Having seen your regenerative abilities in action, I suspect they're primarily physical. A regrowth. If that's the case, you'd be unable to survive most varieties of psychic or molecular decomposition, disintegration, conflagration, and so forth. Degenerative diseases could pose a problem, and I know of several entities capable of psychic destruction. As she speaks, a vision flashes into your mind. It's not yours, exactly. Somehow you know this is a memory of the changing gods. You were in a dark room, lit by a myriad of blinking lights and holograms from the many machines surrounding you. What about the body that can withstand the sorrow's attacks? Says a voice. It seems to be coming from one of the machines. No! The thing has no respect for barriers of any kind. Physical, temporal, psychic. This is the only way. With a series of gestures, you bring up an image of a crystalline pod. If the resonance chamber works, it will give us the power to stop the sorrow's hunt once and for all. We just need the right focal point, a catalyst. The memory fades. Calistiche is still talking. You realize that the device you saw in the memory is identical to the one behind you now. It looks just like the Spectre had described it, a transparent sarcophagus inside a crystalline dome, with mechanical arms arrayed around it on a metal ring. Unfortunately, the dome is shattered, the sarcophagus is cracked, and one of the arms is in pieces on the floor. Whatever its function, it clearly needs repair. Of course it does. Or flesh-eating viruses. One presumes disfigurement by the Iron Wind would likewise be devastating enough to... I think he gets the point, Calistiche. I saw a vision of myself in another time and place just now. You didn't see it too, did you? I saw you stare into space while Calistiche graphically described all the ways you could die, but that's about it. I only noticed because I did the same thing. Do either of you know anything about the sorrow? I've had my share of sorrows, but never the sorrow. What's that, a disease? I know nothing about it. Bullshit. Where are we? What is this place? A sanctum of your sires. The common belief is he has several such places throughout the Ninth World, possibly other worlds as well. We were only just able to gain entry to this one because of your grand entrance. Do either of you know how to fix that crystal chamber there? Not likely, though it might not be impossible. You need people with the appropriate knowledge. I'm sure the cult of the changing god will hold the answer. You'd turn to the insane to help a newborn. Where's your judgment, Aligern? I would take him to the Order of Truth. The Order of Truth? Are you mad? They would sooner take us apart. What's the Order of Truth? Knowledge seekers, the learned who try to wrest secrets from the hearts of the prior worlds. They gather in the city to exchange their findings and help humanity to build a brighter future. Our friend Aligern here was one of them. Frauds, quacksalvers, and charlatans. They don't have all the answers, and I'd not trust them with the changing god's secrets. You're just angry that they couldn't help you with yours. But I'm being too cruel, dear Aligern. Let us take our new friend to the Order. What is the cult of the changing god? Cult of the changing god. Despite what she says, they're not insane, they're eccentrics. They're worshippers of, well, of you or your sire. The changing god. They devote their lives to understanding your kind. Other questions? So either neither one or I choose one of them as a guide. I kind of like Aligern, I think, better than Calistiche, but I feel like I want to go to the Order of Truth more than I want to go to the cult. So I think I'm going to go to the Order of Truth. Of course! Once I provide an introduction to the priest, we'll have your chamber fixed in no time. You'll end up without your clothes and broken in a ditch while she laughs it off as a good experiment. It's probably best I come with you as well. Suspicious as always, Aligern. Child, the world is an exciting place, but it's full of dangers. Rest assured, one of us will get you safely to where you need to be. I'll be right behind you. And then she thinks in her thoughts, I shudder to think what Allegorn might do to the child. Well, shudder could mean that she'd be freaked out that he would do bad things, but it also could mean he would take him away from me, so that's a little bit uncertain. Yeah, I know. It's possible, Disculty, I know. Why do you want to go with me? What's in it for you? I won't deny that you're an exciting find, but it's not just about that. I just want to see you safely out of the reef. Who knows what secrets this child could help me find if I can help him live long enough. Kid, you're not safe here, and not just because you're new. Treasure hunters trawl the reef, scavengers who would sell you for parts if they knew where you came from, what you were. Right, what about the cult of the Changing God, then? Charitably? Lunatics. Allegorn's in fine company with them. They find godhood in a man, obsessively follow his movements, and canonize his get. They'll love you one way or the other. Okay. Alright, you've gained your first companions. They will follow the last cast-off and can be controlled during a crisis. You could speak to them about their past and take advantage of their unique abilities and skills. Companions have their own motivations and personalities. Depending on the choices you make, they may not follow you forever. You may find more companions who can join you as you travel through the Ninth World. Take this opportunity to explore your surroundings. You may find items, equipment, and more to assist you. When you're ready, you can leave the broken dome using the stairs to the northeast. Okay. Good, lovely. Dude, Allegorn looks like Geralt. Broken fragments of the dome's ceiling are scattered on the floor. They appear to be made of transparent synth. A mechanical arm lies on the floor, presumably broken during your fall. Sparks pour from the arm's shattered housing, filling the air with a greasy stench. The sharply pointed apparatus that formerly topped the device appears burnt out and useless, but the equipment in the base remains at least somewhat operational, as the constant stream of sizzling motes can attest. Alright, let me attempt to scavenge what I can from it. If you select a companion's portrait from the effort window, they can assist the last cast-off with some challenges. Your companion's stat pools are used instead of your own, and they may have different skills, abilities, and statistics that make the challenge easier. Companions cannot assist in a crisis, can only use their stats during the turn. Okay, well, we're not in a crisis. Taking care to avoid the sparks, you extract several handfuls of shiny trinkets and coin-like objects. You recognize their value at once. Such objects would be accepted as shins, the informal currency in most regions of the world, so you gather them up and take them with you. Gained items spray flesh. Gain 19 shins. Okay. Let's pull up inventory. Lets you view, equip, and manage items and equipment you find as a number of sections. First is equipment, which contains items equipped to the current character, including melee and ranged weapons, shields, armor, ornaments, rings, and amulets, and bonded items. Backpack contains the items being carried by the current character. Equip, inspect, or transfer items from it. Quest items contains any special items required for quests. Quest items cannot be discarded or sold. Won't need to worry about accidentally losing one. Final section shows the ciphers you are carrying and your cipher limit. Ciphers shown in the inner rings are highlighted in blue and are safe to carry. Those in the outer ring highlighted in orange and are over your cipher limit and inflict negative effects as long as you're carrying them. You can use, sell, discard, or transfer them to another party member to get back under your cipher limit. Yeah, TW, this is Torment, Tides of Numenera, which just came out today. So... Okay. She has a buzzer. Okay. Journal. Fallen to Earth. To fix the resonance chamber. And that's it. No secondary quests or anything else yet. No experience. Cunning Nano who pierces realities. It's Calistiche. Hardened Nano who fights with his demons. And I'm a Slick Nano who is just awesomeness. So... Oh, bad. Oh, nice, TX. Oh, are they going to do that? They'll convert your key to a GOG one? Nice. Nice, that's awesome. Inventory. I still don't have weapons. I had like a quick bar that I could easily put that in.
Of course.
Yeah, I hear that, Mano. That's what the email said. Nice. Sunlight falls through the ragged hole in the roof onto the shattered resonance chamber. It's hard to believe that you did this, that you plummeted through the curve of the pale blue sky, crashed through the dome, and broke this delicate machine with your own body. Well, that was great work by me. I shouldn't have done that. It's hard to believe that you're still alive. 4 mechanical arms hang over the center of the device above the cracked, semi-transparent crystal of the sarcophagus. The 5th arm lies broken on the floor among the shattered synth and crystal shards, and a metal ring surrounds the array, dented and broken by your impact crater. Right, let me take a close look at the sarcophagus. The padded interior beneath the coffin's cracked lid looks like it was made for a human body. Despite the damage, you don't see any way to open it and get inside. You glance between the sarcophagus and the needle-like protrusions at the ends of the arms above. It seems likely that using this chamber would not be a pleasant experience. I'll bet. Maybe your imagination, but some of the cracks in the crystal seem shallower than they were before. Wait, what? Interesting. Okay, what about the suspended arms? Cables run from machines along the dome's wall to the base of the suspended arms, each of which is capped with long needles, aimed at the cracked, coffin-like chamber at the center of the platform. Gem-like lights flicker dimly at the bases of the arms. Remember, the lights at the bases of the arms have gone out. Just double-checking and seeing... Okay. Inspect the metal ring. You feel the slightest hint of resistance every time you cross the ring, and now that you're paying attention, you notice that your breath is echoing in your ears, as though you were inside a glass dome. When you step outside the ring, the feeling passes. Alright? Let me examine the shards on the ground, then. Jagged fragments of crystal are intermingled with synth from the shattered dome above. The crystal shards glitter in the light like captive suns. Pick up one of them. Alright. Sliver of crystal, sharp as a dagger on one end and smooth on the other. Might make a usable if somewhat crude weapon. Other useful ones? Okay. Alright. Better than nothing. Better than nothing. Let's see. Let's pick that up first. Shin. Encephalic Rush. And Fleetfoot Moss. Okay. A slate-black, unimpressive device hunkers before you. As you reach out to touch it, the triangle of lights on its casing blazes into light and an image unfolds in your mind. A towering crystal arch rises over a jagged gray landscape. The air is dead and stifling. And there, at its emerald peak, the image collapses, leaving you staring into the device's triangular array of lights. Command me, the device, or the intelligence within it says, each word carefully etched with distaste. Okay, who are you? Your command was not understood. Command me. What was that arch you showed me? Your command was not understood. Command me. What commands do you recognize? Alright, command me. Show me that list of commands again. Slower, please. Command me. Screw off. The intelligence lights flutter in alarm just before your foot smashes into the base of the device. Something within goes crunch. Cell gating damaged. All prisoners lost. Shuttling Lugumvo. A hatch springs open near the dent left by your foot, and the lights flicker off as you claim a hissing component from the device's smoking interior. A shard of glass displays an image of 3 strangely garbed children in a field. A sequence of them playing a simple ball game repeats itself. After repeating viewings, you notice a small child standing further away in the field. This 4th child is looking directly at you. Her large eyes brim with fear. You planning on breaking every machine in here? Nope, just the ones that are stupid. Want to be a jerk? You're gonna pay. Tiny glowing motes float through the interior of this tower. Each one is surrounded by much smaller motes, like thousands of worlds circling their suns.
Of course.
You can zoom in pretty far, actually. What about this? Flexible tubes that are attached to this machine appear to be later additions. Someone cobbled the device together, but its function is unclear. Okay.
Let's do it.
Lovely. Right. Alright. Let's save this. It's still starting out, I think. Alright, let's get out of here. You must gather your party before venturing.
I need to talk to you.
You do, huh?
What do you need? What do you need?
Need to talk.
This is the Reef of Fallen Worlds, kid. It's a dangerous place at the best of times. And with you lighting up the sky as you fell, well, we should get out of here as soon as possible.
Still don't have a voice for her. Why were you looking at me when you said that? I wasn't. Don't be so paranoid. What makes the reef so dangerous? The Numenera of the past are always dangerous, but there are other dangers too. Some closer than others. I hate to think what Calistiche might do to him if I weren't here. Okay. What are the Numenera? You want me to tell you? The Numenera are all around you, everything left open from the prior worlds. Sega's Cliffs thrives by trading artifacts from ancient civilizations. Hells, you can't scoop a handful of Earth without finding drit from prior worlds mixed in with it. Numenera is anything from the prior worlds, but mostly we mean the stuff of value to us. A lot of the Numenera are just oddities, fancy trinkets with little real use, but sometimes you'll get a cipher that lets you do something incredible. Artifacts are worth even more. A cipher will only do something once, but artifacts last a lot longer. Though they can burn out at the most inconvenient times. Not that it's ever happened to me. Those are not shadows, Lex. Those are actually echoes of her. There's like multiple images which she calls her sisters that are all around her. Of course, we've got no idea what most of this junk was originally intended for. In most cases, it doesn't really matter. Like you might find what used to be a propulsion unit for a star chariot, but who the hell knows enough to build you the rest of it? Better to use it as a weapon or a power source. But we could remake the world if we knew a tenth of the secrets of the ancients. But most days it's just a challenge. It's a challenge just to survive. Okay, what's your story? Ask me again when we get out of here. I don't trust this damned reef any more than the company we keep. What do you think of Calistiche? Yeah, no, not mirror image. I can understand why you'd think that for sure, Lex, yeah. A parasite disguised as a scholark. Don't be surprised if she betrays you before the day is done. Actually, that would be slow for her. Then why are you traveling with her? She said she could help me with a problem I had. We never seemed to get anywhere with my business, but found plenty of time for hers. Wasn't something I'd care to do again. Keep that in mind when you talk to her. Tell me about your tattoos. They look almost alive. These? They're nothing. Call them a consolation if you must. Some call them by worse names, but that's because they've had occasion to run afoul of these little snakes. My gift and curse, they remind me of it every day. Okay. What do you think we should do next? You want to fix that crystal chamber back there, yeah? First step is getting out of this reef. Let's keep going. Alright. This jagged hole is where you crashed through the dome. Water is clear, almost unnaturally so, revealing ruins upon ruins as far as you can see.
Yes, child.
Okay. We got us some gold. We got some Fleetfoot moss. And an elutriated force. All items. Look at that. That's what you're talking about. What's up versus Mike? Well, we're going to find out, I guess. Two floating cones whirl and spin deliriously around each other, quit giggling like children being tickled. The air around them smells of sweet, burning leaves. What are you? The cones continue whirling and laughing like enraptured dancers, giving no sign that they've heard you. What are you for? The cones greet your question with a split second of hushed silence, following by delighted peals of helpless giggling. They aren't for anything. They're from one of the worlds before this one. Sometimes the Numenera will do something useful. Sometimes they'll turn you inside out. And sometimes they don't do a damn thing that makes sense. I've often said the same thing about you, darling. Patterns. The longer you stare at these artifacts, the more you're convinced that they turn faster when their spiraling paths cross each other. More mystical, their edges seem to trace faint glowing lines that twine around each other, resembling a rope fastened to some invisible point beyond this time and place. Let's touch a cone as it passes. Oh. You manage to graze one of them with the tip of your finger. Rorn, a voice says, and your vision is stolen from you. A moon hangs over you, but it is not the one you recognize. It's blackened in a pearl-white sky. Thick, flat asteroids orbited like petals in the wind. You feel questing tendrils at your ankle, and the hot wind on your face smells of scorched hair and grief. Nice, scorched hair and grief. Fleetfoot moss. Nice. If they start being like, you know, if it don't want to do a smile, if it takes just a little while, open your arms, reach to the day, you'll see things in a different way. Don't stop playing Tides Numenera. Anyway. Okay. Your vision returns. The cones hang motionless for only a second before resuming their giggling dance. Let's try speaking to the cones again. Okay. Leave them alone.
It's a plan.
Well, thank you, Lex.
In this world, then.
A tangled cluster of metallic tendrils grows from the depths of the nearby water. Strangely, they resemble clawed alien hands, most of which have 7 or 8 fingers. Examine the cluster. The hands sway softly, but their movements are difficult to follow. Watching them for too long makes you feel nauseous. Apart from the hands themselves, you don't notice anything of interest in the cluster. I'm going to break off one of the hands. It's a lot of might. Do you have might that you could use instead? Let's go with that. You grip the hand nearest to you and snap it from its roots. Stepping back, you give it a couple experimental swings. Good balance, it might make a decent weapon. 8-fingered mace. You aren't happy unless you're breaking things, are you? Alright. This metallic... okay, so 4 physical damage, 3 chemical damage. And this one is what? This is 2 physical damage, 2 damage per effort applied. 15% on weapon attacks. Oh, dude. It's way better. Okay. Yep, there's always abilities, that's right. Like the music. A matte black obelisk floats in midair above the water. It has sharp curved sides that converge to a glowing tip that brightens or dims with the passing of the bay's faint breezes. Reach out and touch it. You raise your hand toward the obelisk. Dull green light wells from within the black stone, fixed on you like a furious eye. I knew someone who did what you're about to do. Aeon Priest. A beam came out the top of that thing and ripped his face off. Made a fancy nightlight out of his crystal necklace, though. But hey, I'm sure you know what you're doing. Oh, hush! At least that poor priest died in service of his curiosity, rather than stumbling about the coast complaining and feeling sorry for himself. Go ahead if you must, but do be careful. I'm going to stretch my crystal shard toward the obelisk. Carefully, you level the shard at the obelisk, and a superheated beam lances from the tip of the structure into the crystal, sending vibrations up your arm and suffusing the shard with a warm green glow. Experience! Yeah, what do you think of that? Okay.
Without doubt.
Came from there, so...
Doing it now.
A bubbling mass of sludge floats on the surface of the water. Every once in a while, an oily nodule separates from it and hurtles into the sky. You catch momentary glimpses of a muck-coated object in the putrid mass. See on the sludge. Carefully, you lean close to the heaving mass. After a moment's study, you notice that the globules rising into the sky always contain something, be it a shining core of untainted seawater or a tiny fish. Okay, let's retrieve it. You found a cipher. Ciphers are Numenera objects that can trigger a powerful effect and can only be used once. Ciphers and your cipher limit score are displayed in a special section of the inventory screen. It can only be used once. Oh wow. I didn't know they were consumable. Take care not to accumulate more ciphers in your cipher limit or you'll experience unpleasant side effects. The next time sunlight strikes the object's streaked surface, you're ready. You snatch it from the oily mass and clean it as best you can. Fresh vapors. Heals 10 points of intellect and confers fresh vapors. A simmering jar made of metallic glass. Inside the jar rests a strange miasma. Its vapors sit crystalline and perfectly still until held. The glass vessel twists and writhes when grasped. Yeah, I know, right? Disculty with some monkeys dancing around it, probably? When you put your ear to the device and listen closely, sounds of weeping and hysterical laughter rise from within. Warm to the touch, once inhaled, the vessel becomes ice cold. The user feels panic, fear, nausea, and then sweet relief. A torrent of emotions akin to getting a full rest. Oh god, I almost used that item. Woo! That would have been bad. I'm not sure whether that awful muck is harmless. You're immensely lucky. Either way, do go on poking things, dear. It's quite entertaining. Yes! No, I do not leave. No, I don't. Tar River Globe. You found a veritable filth-stained trove. Well done, dear. You watch patiently, but nothing else comes up. You got lucky, kid, but you're not going to find anything else. If it were that easy, you'd have scavengers camped here 28 hours a day. See you, Inquisitor. Tar River Globe, oddity. Close a miniature scene of a river of tar running through a wasteland. It also contains a mystical blue liquid which seems like it would mix with the tar if the globe were shaken. You notice ancient indecipherable writing around the outer base. It's got 5 uses, okay. Neat. A yawning intake marks the front of a long-dead construct. Inside the metal is pitted, black, and ancient. Okay, what about this? A cable connects this spout to the collection device. The nozzle looks like it may have been attached to another machine at one time. Okay. The strange lines and rippling forms of the sunken buildings are dramatically different from the architecture above the waterline. Okay. Right, just like do it. There you go, Blurb. This device is collecting black goop from somewhere underwater and pumping it to the nearby spout. Okay, and that's the thing that I can interact with.
Done.
Let's pick that up first. We got us some shin, some more elutriated force, and some encephalic rush.
Allow me.
This metal door is thick, heavy, and unmarked by time. Double rows of circular bumps run horizontally and vertically across its surface. It is firmly sealed. There you go, dragon. Examine the door more carefully. The metal surface is infused with minuscule threads that are barely visible to the human eye. They only run in straight lines and right angles, and they seem to converge at the circular bumps. Upon closer inspection, you notice that each of the bumps is unique. Some have flat faces, others are actually many-sided polygons, and a few are marked by tiny apertures. Unfortunately, you don't see anything that resembles a knob, keyhole, or access device. You try touching both the flat planes of the door and the small bumps, but nothing happens. I'll knock on the door, although nothing is going to happen. You knock lightly at first, then harder. The door makes no sound at all, nor does it shudder or yield. There's no one home, dear. Hasn't been for thousands of years. One of my colleagues at the Order claimed that she got inside, but I don't believe her. Door again. Okay. Alright. Making serious progress here.
Yes, child.
Yes, child.
Naturally. Naturally.
Although this cube hovers in the air, you can feel the ground shudder with its vibrations. This is one of the things that about Numenera, which is always interesting, or Numenera, excuse me, which is always interesting, and that is just, it's just unrelentingly weird all the time, so at a certain point you just deal with it. You know? Like, it's just strange upon strange upon strange, and eventually you're like, alright. You know? A long cable extends from this spout, but at the point where it dips below the water, it's been snapped in half. This massive construct was trying to climb across the top of the reef when it died. Its surface is pocked with tiny scars and scorch marks. Cobalt petals fold over a short metal stem. Calcified minerals hold the ancient weapon closed.
Yes.
What's up, Ravelon? Yeah, for those of you who are, by the way, just stopping in, I already read that one. We're about halfway through the show. My name is Arvin Eleron. This is Pen and Pixels, which is a show I do every week here on GOG focused on story and narrative. And this is Numenera, this is Torment, Tides of Numenera. This is the sort of spiritual successor, you might say, to Planescape Torment. I had a chance to chat with Colin McComb about this, who I know has been on here a couple of times. I've also had a chance to speak to some of the writers for this, Monty Cook and Shanna Germain, of course, who were the ones to first develop, Monty Cook, of course, the one who first developed the world of Numenera. And then also Pat Rothfuss, who did some writing for this as well, is also a pretty well-known fantasy author. So I wanted a chance to actually play this last year. It definitely have been some changes since I saw it, and I think changes for the most part for the better. But I'm impressed with this so far. For those of you expecting to see Tyranny, I will return to Tyranny next week. I have about 2 sessions of that left to go, and then when that's wrapped up, I'll be returning to this, and this will be the game I'll be focusing on for a while. But definitely, as you saw, Grows just popped up a game there, so definitely be interested in checking that. That's actually linked to my affiliate link, so if this interests you, that's the place that you could go and grab it. I will say that this is not traditional RPG stuff. Numenera, as I said, is weird. It's kind of a combined world. There's mysticism. There's some post-apocalyptic qualities to it. There's a lot of different stuff there. And all that stuff. So there's a lot of good stuff that's associated with it, but it is a little odd. So if you're looking for straight-up traditional, like, straight-ahead stuff, that's not what you're going to get here. Also, there's lots and lots and lots and lots of talking. Now, I happen to like that kind of a game, but if you are not into that, and if you want much more action and a lot of, more fighting than sort of thinking, not for you. But other than that, I think this is, I don't know. I've been looking forward to playing it for a while, so.
Yes, child.
Oh, speaking of fighting, I'm sure these people are friendly, despite the music change. As you step onto what looks like the back of the enormous construct, 4 strangers approach you. Yep. Yeah, exactly. If that wasn't your jam, this might not be either, exactly. In the lead is a wiry man with parallel scars running from cheek to collarbone on the left side of his face. He gives you a welcoming smile, pulling on gray gloves embedded with pulsing lights. He's about to say something to you when he notices Calistiche. And then his thoughts. I love this scanned thoughts thing. I'm so glad I got this. He's the star, or he came out of it. But what does Cal have to do with this? Cal, I thought you'd sworn off trolling the reef. Found anything tasty? Odds and ends, Choro. Nothing that would interest you, I'm sure. Same world, Lex. Same world. and more worlds than Wheel of Time. Shadowrun Trilogy is one of your favorites in recent years, so I'll probably like it. Yeah, Shadowrun games are tremendous. I love Harebrained Schemes as well. Those are good guys. And next up after me, by the way, in about an hour and a half, is Loveluster, who's going to be playing Shadowrun Returns, which is, as I said, great stuff. Okay, and then Calistiche thinks, what is he doing here? He has something up his sleeve, I know it. Calistiche, is something wrong? Nothing's wrong, dear. I accompanied Choro, I'm going to say it's Choro, on an expedition once long ago. His methods were too crass for my tastes, though in his defense he never tried to kill me when my back was turned. Or if he did, he failed and I didn't notice. I don't like this. If she's cagey about him, it can only mean trouble. You should hear what I tell people about you, dear. Killer or not, Choro is not a man who can be trusted with unvarnished truth. Tread lightly. What do you want? Right to the point, this one, isn't he? I know most of the draft that scavenges the reef these days, but it's a rare pleasure to see a new face. All I want is information. A failing star landed near here not long ago. I don't suppose you're around to see it? Nice scars. How did you get them? Two things are more dangerous than death in this world. Asking impolite questions of strangers, and playing with Numenera you don't fully understand. My error was in the latter category, and I've grown more careful since. Where did this star land? Well, if I knew that, I wouldn't be reduced to harassing noble travelers. I never saw it, you see. My employer did, then thought, who's the most trustworthy team I can send at a moment's notice? Luckily, they were on another assignment. We were interested and weren't too drunk yet, so... What interests you about this star? I want to get as much information from him as I can. How kind of you to ask! So few people are interested in this tangled motivations of paid explorers. The world is littered with ruins and fascinating secrets. Trouble is, anyone can claim them. But when something falls from the sky, that's rarer, and a man can make his name off such a find. We're also being paid quite handsomely. That helps. Enough chat, I think. Where's the falling star? I'll be honest with you. I saw the star, but don't know where it landed. This is my jam. Alright. Well, do let us know if you spot anything of interest. I'd like to say we'd pay for the privilege, but if we were rich, we wouldn't be down here, would we? If he's not telling the truth and he's a fantastic liar, I guess I was wrong. I am a fantastic liar. Nice thinking, kid. That would have been a fiasco. You figured out why they were here, right? In his thoughts, I knew I couldn't trust Calistiche. That's the last time I made that mistake. They saw me fall from the sky and came to investigate. Oh, sure, and they just had that ambush ready to go at the same time as we're leaving. No, kid, Calistiche sold us out. Excuse me? Are you suggesting I had something to do with Churro's plans? Oh, I cannot abide his rabid paranoia a moment longer. So right, the reason I love the thoughts thing is it gives me a lot more information that lets me handle this directly. She's thinking that, which indicates that she obviously didn't set this up as an ambush, which is important. Well, Shimmy, then just type in game and you can go right now and get it. It is available. Are you suggesting you didn't? An old friend of yours just happens to be waiting for us, armed and outnumbering us, as we return from the greatest find the reef has seen in years? It's too convenient for me. Too convenient by far. Of all the idiotic paranoid delusions, you really believe this, don't you? You really believe I'd use a half-wit like Choro to stab you in the back rather than do it myself? You see, kid? She'll stab you in the back first chance she gets. Most likely in your sleep. How would she know, Duskalti? How would she know? You think she can read my thoughts also? Because otherwise, how does she know that I'm reading her thoughts? That would be my thought. Look, I don't care. Fact is, I can't trust you anymore, and I wonder why I ever did. This is the last we travel together. I've got enough to worry about with having to watch my back 28 hours a day. You coming, kid, or what? Allegren, I really don't think she was trying to betray us. I do. You haven't seen 1/10 of her depths, not 1/20th. She's a backstabbing bitch, mark my words. Oh, that's Lex, come on. Why is it parroting on the name and success of the original game? Some of the people involved with this, including Monty Cook, are people that were also involved with the original. So unless the developers are parasiting off themselves, I don't see the connection at all. This is a weirdness which only exists in it this way in Numenera. And it does feel very consistent with the weirdness of Planescape Torment. Planescape Torment was a lot more tied into D&D, obviously, than this is, because this is an independent game that kind of broke free of that. But thematically, it feels very consistent to me with that game. Also, you can't really imitate your own game, frankly. I mean, it's their game, so. You were insufferable to the end, Allegern. Looking for the worst in a situation is the only way you know to see. Do you know how long I've carried your pain for you? How much I've had to turn away from your judgmental stares? But you're right, I've had enough. Child, I'm happy to guide you, but I will not walk another step with this paranoid buffoon. Mercor, she has different, different images from different planes or different things. It's not entirely clear to me, but it says that those are her sisters. So we don't really know why. There is some voice acting in the game. Yes, Inspector Mark, there was some before. No, not tattoos, I don't think, Rose. The tattoos are on Allegern. She doesn't have tattoos as far as I know. She just has those, like, weird images, unless I missed something. I may have missed something. I think it's, like, different dimensions, basically. Finally, something we agree on. Kid, she'll chop off your head and spit down your throat. I'll get you where you need to go and let you sleep at night to boot. It's up to you. I'm going with Allegern because even though I don't think she betrayed us, I don't know. Risky. Yes, I do, Lex. I also know that the developers, some of the developers were the same people, including Monty Cook is the one who developed Numenera in the first place. Same person. I know this because I asked him myself in an interview I did with him. So. Alright, I will go with Allegern.
As you wish. Should you change your mind, I'll be at the order of truth. But don't bring the complainer. A farewell to you, child, and best of luck. You'll need it.
I know, right, Mano? Exactly. Well, at least I got the echo part right, but her voice should have been a little lower. But I didn't know that till I heard that, of course. And good riddance. Come on, whatever answers exist are up there. Alright. Too bad I couldn't keep both of them, but now that you dealt with Charo and his goons, you can continue on to the city of Sagus Cliffs. To reach the city, cross the bridge at the north end of the platform, okay? Let's save first. What do we got here? There's a shallow depression in the surface here, like many others scattered around the construct. Unlike the others, energy still pulses across this one at random intervals. A slight, yet implacable sense of unease emanates with each wave of energy. There's a loose lens at the center of the depression. You think you could redirect the psychic effects somewhere more useful, but it'll be tricky to get to it in between the energy pulses. Without any antagonist to aim it toward, the device doesn't serve any obvious purpose. Well, maybe I guess I could have used that against those guys if I got into a fight, but I didn't. Cobalt petals, fold over short metal stem. Alright, I already know about that. A lambent green fluid drips from each end of the device's nozzle and hisses angrily on the metal surface beneath. Ooh. Oh, let me see here. I've got to check this out because I don't actually... I have just reached a word that I don't know. I have never heard of the word lambent, but I'm going to find out what it is right now. What does lambent mean? Fine, glowing, gleaming, or flickering with a soft radiance. So it's glowing. Huh. We all just learned a new word, chat. Lambent means glowing. Without any antagonists. So again, I could have used that in a fight against them. Alright.
Yes.
A sheep walking tree. Learning with the Arv. Now we know. See, we didn't know before. A spherical head hangs loosely from the stanchion. A single metal fiber holds it in place. So I could have used all these environmental things, a lot of them, to affect that fight if I had gotten into a fight. But I avoided it in the first place, which was probably what I wanted to do. A sickly green crust scabs over numerous cracks and divots in this turret. Alright, I think I've explored everything here, so let's save. This will be the last time I use a starting out. From here it'll be continues.
You've got it.
Let's do it. You've read negative reviews? I've read mostly positive ones, but I need to look at more of them. See, again, I feel like this is a game that will probably... Let's get you to the Cult of the Changing God. They're encamped by the clock in the Great Square here. I have a feeling this is a game that's going to engender quite a bit of... it's going to engender quite a bit of strong feeling because it is a weird world, and some people are not going to like a weird world. You know, like, if that's what it is, then, you know, if that's not your thing, that's not your thing. But I feel like people who look at it and go, the world is too weird and I don't like that, yeah, I don't know. Well, we'll see. So far, I'm really enjoying it, but I'd have to look at the reviews. How long ago did I start? I started at, what's it, 5:45? So I started at about 4 my time, so about an hour and 45 minutes ago. Soylent Lambert Green. Hello, Polarnik. Alright, let's return to... Twin creatures of a type you've never seen before, never seen flank a central orb, their cultural significance lost. What we got?
Fine.
What's up, Atero? Who are you? Wind spins off the distant sea, sweeping between you and the boy, whistling up toward the peaks of Sagas Cliffs. He glances at you, then at the crowds in the plaza beyond. He appears to be looking for someone. And then thoughts, would she have come to the city? Doesn't seem like her kind of play, but... Saw you wandering down there on the reef. Did you get to that star before the others did? Guess not. That ain't a face that's found good pick. A lot of people went looking for the star, did they? Nah, not too many. Gotta be a carker to go down to the reef. That place is haunted. I'm still looking forward to finding out more about these tides. Look. You hide it well, but I can tell you're new here. I ain't trying to offend you, but I don't like leaving folk new to Sagas on their own. If you have questions about the city, or Circus Minor in particular, I'll answer them free of charge. Of course, it looks like you already have a guide. Although you might be better listening to someone with taste. Or anyone else who doesn't think living in the underbelly is a good idea. A little extra advice never hurt anyone. And not everyone likes sleeping under the scars. Or fresh air. Or self-respect. Anyway, what do you want to know? Do you live here? Yeah, the console version, I don't know. This doesn't feel to me like a game which is automatically going to connect with people with console. You know, RPGs can work on consoles, I find, much of the time much better if you're dealing with a first-person situation. But I don't know how active this is. You know, I don't know if this plays to the general console crowd. I have consoles myself, but I'm just saying, like, a lot of the console players, I'm not sure that it fits, but, you know, be interesting to see. Right, that's kind of the thing. It sort of grows on you, you know, TX? Not really. Walls are nice, but they keep you in one place. I like to move around, explore. Thoughts. Don't like being here much at all, really. City folks are scarier than scroungers. Okay. You don't have a home? Don't need one. I carry my life with me. Pats his bags. Yeah, exactly. Not a wordy one. Right. Just called exactly. Let's see. So we're in Circus Minor now? Yeah. The heart of the city. The levies and politicians will tell you that Government Square is the center of Sagas Cliffs, but they're not thinking right. When folk come to Sagas, they come here. They talk and trade, flirt and fight. Tell stories. Everyone who comes here leaves different. Anyway, what do you want to know? Oh, you're going to be getting on Xbox? That's cool. Yeah, Grows, you know, that's... I prefer straight turn-based to the pause with real-time, but I'm telling you, man, all of these people love pause with real-time. And not just this developer. I mean, Colin McComb, obviously, but Josh Sawyer and all the people at Obsidian love pause with real-time. And these guys do. And, like, I mean, so many people love pause with real-time with pause, I mean. And it's like, I prefer straight turn-based myself, but, you know. Let's see. What do you want to know? What's happening on that stage? An execution. It'll be going on for a few days yet. All those folks think they'll learn great truths from the nightmares of a dying man. It's not worth my time, but it might be worth yours if you haven't seen one before. Does anyone around here know how to fix complex machinery? Prada. That's the bug lady in the market's pretty good with machines. You might ask her for advice. Otherwise, you'll want to visit the four men in the underbelly. They might be able to fix it if they can stop fighting long enough. Okay, who should I speak to in the machinery? Okay, what are you doing here anyway? Just got back from a scrounge. I'm here trading salvo for supplies before I set out again. Enjoying the sights, you know? And where would she have gone if she came here and why? So he's looking for someone. But who? You can't help notice that he doesn't seem to be enjoying himself. He looks downright unhappy. Guilty, even. Here we go. Who are you looking for? A girl I met a while back. She was new in town like you. I'm just wondering what happened to her. If she's okay. Anyway, you have any other questions? Didn't look like she broke camp. More like she left in a hurry. I want to ask about something else. I'm looking for the cult of the Changing God. Well, you're not going to be able to miss him. They're camped around that weird clock on the other side of the square. What do you want with those carkers anyway? They owe you something? Yes, I'm the Changing God. That's clearly what I'm going to say. Yes, I wanted to ask how you would go about saving the Changing God. I have a machine to make sure that I heal the rest of myself, and I was hoping that I could heal the resonance machine, so yeah. I like the idea about avoiding combat. Okay. Just need to ask them a few questions. Fair enough. Even carkers get it right sometimes. Where's the Order of Truth? In Government Square. From here, follow the path around to the left and look for the stairs going up. Okay, question about Circus Minor. No, 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 no! I didn't want to say farewell. Wait. I missed something. What can you tell me about this city? Depends on what you want to know. I spend most of my time in Circus Minor, but there's other districts too. Government Square, Cliff's Edge, the Underbelly, and Caravanserai. There's also the Reef of Fallen Worlds, but you've already been down there. What about the Reef? Only carkers, slavers, bullies, and diggers desperate for scrounge go there. And you, of course. Ah, thank you very much for the follow, Zemeron BR. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it over on my channel. Thanks. Besides, folks think it's haunted by ghosts from the previous worlds, and I've seen enough down there to agree with them. But you don't need me telling you what it's like. You're lucky you didn't get robbed on your way back. Or worse. Something named Choro tried to rob us on the way up. I bluffed my way past him. That's not easy. I got a good kicking from him for trying the same thing once. See, there I decided to be more truthful because I didn't think this guy was in his gang, so I thought it was worth... I want to try to gather this guy's trust, not necessarily the other dude's trust. So, yeah, I know, Butterfingers, right? With intent? Seriously. Okay. I want to know about Caravanserai. That's the port of Sagas. Every time I see... I don't know if it's Sagas... Every time I say it, I keep thinking Bob Saget from Full House. That's the port of Bob Saget. Thank you again for the, thanks again for the follow. Istnieni, welcome to the Arvanauts. Thank you. Thank you for following me over on my channel. Let's see. Plenty to see. Any ship that can fly lands there, makes their trades, and takes off for foreign lands. Plenty to see right here in Sagas, Bob Saget. Don't know why people insist on leaving. Okay, what is Cliff's Edge? A damn dangerous place to live. Folks build their houses out on the ledge over the sea, and everyone gets upset when one of them falls. I hear it's been getting worse lately. Watch your feet up there. Oh, great. What about the Underbelly? Imagine an underground place where the city sends everyone they don't like. Cannibal cultists, mutants, carkers, and thugs. Now add a stink like burning metal and cooking meat. That's the Underbelly. It ain't that bad, kid. It has a good side. You mentioned Government Square. If you ever find it, go ahead and let me know. Government Square, I did. Bet you can guess what's up there. Thank you, Eggsy. Welcome. Let's see. Where can I find a place to sleep around here? The Cult of the Changing God might let you sleep in their camp. Or you can try Tranquility's Rest in Caravanserai. Okay. Let's see. I have some... Alright. Okay. Well, Cult of the Changing God, that fits, because that's what I'm planning on doing anyway. Stall stands empty. Deep ruts in the layered rugs hint at heavy furniture, hastily moved and the last occupant vacated. Right, let's go talk to a few of these people. Oh my god, so much stuff. Paha. Or Paja. This couple stands together, their shared gaze fixed away from you. No words pass between them. Instead, they share a silent language of tenderness. Their bodies turn subtly towards each other, forming a private space between them. His hand reaches for hers, and without looking, she claims it. Still looking past you, they smile together. His is a curving line carved in oak. Hers is unabashed and radiant as a lantern on a starless night. He's so beautiful, I do hope we're a good home for him. Turning, you see the object of their attention, a young boy darting between the stalls and playing in the dust. Each distant, exhilarated shout widens their respective smiles and tightens their grip on each other. Is that your son? Yes. He's still watching the boy, but a wary stillness has spilled into his posture. Not yet. We adopted Harem, and we're waiting to see how he feels about that. Aren't we, Kellinor? Go away. Go away. Why does he want me to leave? What brings you here? Jerem likes it. We don't have much time between shifts, or money to spend on fripperies, so we bring him to the market where we can watch him play. Market when we can, and watch him play. It's better than a night at the theater. It's only sort of thematically in the same mode, but it's not really a direct sequel, Kel. Also, hi, Kilobyte. Kellinor raises their clasped hands and kisses her bruised knuckles. Why did you decide to adopt? Smooth, kid. That's just the kind of thing people like talking about with strangers. Oh, I'm not embarrassed. We love telling the story. Well, Kellinor and I, we've been together for how long? Years. Let's see how long this one lasts. And we knew we wanted children, so we tried and tried. We tried a lot. Some days I think I barely had time to put my clothes on before Kel took them off again. Interesting. Go on. Well, there was poor Kel practically falling asleep on the shift, forgetting his trousers half the time, and me with nothing to show for it but a glow on my cheeks. Clearly we were working with a barren field. Hey, Optic! Or faulty seeds. Does run in the family. So we decided to find a child who needed a home rather than getting old trying to make one of our own. That answer your question? I'm so tempted to say, sorry, I'm going to need more details. More than adequately. I thought so. We get asked this question a lot, and finally we find that being explicit about the process made the questions just melt away. Got what you asked for there. If it was after dark, I might have got more details, you know, but... The child skids to a halt and rubs his forehead with a grimy forearm, leaving arrow tracks of dirt across his ruddy skin. Hey, Shuva. I never seen you before. You called me Shuva. What does that mean? Huh? Really? You never heard it? And then he thinks, has that changed too? I have, but not since I was young. Kids are saying that again? It's slang from an older dialect, kid. My grandfather used it when he was young. They'd get outsiders coming through the village, dealing tough with the merchants, and shoving kids aside as they went about their damned important business. Shuva. Get it? Yeah, that's it, alright. I don't understand. How can a place be so the same but so not? Do you like playing in the market? Not always, but it's better than school, hey? And I like watching Zeofi make sculptures, the one that goes sharp and curly. It reminds me of the monster on the side of Scarrow Hall. Scarrow Hall? What is that, a building? Yeah, Shuva. It's just a building at the center of town. 1,000 hands tall with a mural on the side like Zeofi's sculpture, but flat and in purple rock. I don't think you're gonna miss it if you're looking for it, hey? Yeah, you will. Scarrow Hall was a huge temple at the center of town like he says. It was torn down centuries ago. Kid's either a liar or a carker. Interesting. So he's like from a previous time. Haha, Glog, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I've heard a few people say that, Grows. It is true that I hope they don't get burned by the release time, because there are a couple of other games that came out just at the same time. I heard some people talking about, like I know Mano just mentioned before that Breath of the Wild is coming out. I guess people who have a Wii U are going to be that way. I have a hard time believing that people who are going to buy a Nintendo Switch are going to immediately be like, oh, I would have totally bought Torment if it wasn't for that. Like, I could see myself getting a Nintendo Switch down the line. I'm not going to get one immediately. And definitely Breath of the Wild. I love Zelda, so I could see myself getting that, either for the Switch if I do get one, or for the Wii U, which I have already. But I don't think that would put me off from playing this game. So I don't know that the audience is quite the same as far as an impact, but we'll see, because it is right on top of some other popular games. So... Also, the other game that came out today, which I know nothing about, except I watched it a little bit, was some Horizon Dawn's Horizon Edge Dawn's Horizon, something like that. There were at least 4 people that I saw that were on my follow that were playing it this morning, and I watched a bit of it. It looked like some kind of strange post-apocalyptic machine, first person. It looked like a cross between, like, or third person, I mean, like Tomb Raider and the new Tomb Raider reboot and something. Zero Dawn? Oh, okay. Oh, there are frame rate issues? Yeah. Well, we'll see. I have to decide if I can afford... I want to know, first of all, if Virtual Console is coming out for the Switch, if you can transfer from the Wii U to the Switch. Because if not, I'm not going to go out and buy a whole new console right in the way. Because I'd want to be able to sell this, to trade this in first. So, nice, Optic. Let's see. So, why are you so dirty? I don't know. Paha and Kellinor make me wash twice a day. I guess the dirt likes me, hey? Don't your parents worry about you running around here alone? My parents? You mean Paha and Kellinor? They're watching me until my Mard and Ciro come back for me. What do Mard and Ciro mean? Huh? Mard, Ciro, my parents. You asked me about them. Paha and Kellinor are taking care of me until they come back. Oh my god, this kid has actual parents. He doesn't think they're his parents. Well, crap. That's another one, isn't it? No wonder Paha doesn't like me talking to people. You keep using words I don't recognize. Where did you hear them? I'm not allowed to tell adults about that, or about where I'm from. Don't ask, hey? It's so much trouble. I'm not even sure what I did. Don't worry. I know all sorts of secrets, and I never tell anyone. Yeah, White March Part 3. There you go, Breakor. I want... 80% or 75%. I really want to know the answer to this. Alright, I guess I can tell you, but you can't spread it around, right? Alright, tell me about where you're from. Here, Shuva. I'm from here. It just up and changed without me. I grew up in the Downs. My parents lost their spots on the work chain and we went to sleep hungry more and more. Neither of them could look at me without crying. But everyone in the Downs was starving. It wasn't anything new. People started using that archway more and more. The Downs have changed too. I can see it on his face. What are the Downs? If you weren't in the families in the up, everywhere else was Downs inside the wreckage. We dig deep looking for food first, warm second. My neighborhood is inside this curvy spiral. If you've ever seen paintings of a seashell, it's like that. I knew it. What's wrong with this place? Tell me about that archway you mentioned. Big thing. Always good smells coming out of it too, like roasting meat in sunny days. I used to watch it, but I was never sure what it was for, you know? And the parents in the Downs never talked about it either. Then one morning I saw Corna, a friend of mine, and her Mard go up. Mard gives her a kiss, sends her through, and Corna never came out again. You know what did, though? Music. Close, Shuva. Lovely guess. But no, it was a metal ring. Didn't look to be worth much, but every once in a while you'd hear Corna laughing. Whatever she was happy, right? Handful of days pass and my Mard takes me for a walk, too. Said she'd find me when they'd saved the money, kissed me, and pushed me through it. Wow. They got rid of him because they couldn't afford to keep him. Jeez, man. Woke up outside another archway up in Government Square. Paha and Kellinor were waiting for me there. They're not so bad, but I keep hoping my parents will stop by to visit. Even if they don't have the money yet, right? I try to laugh a lot so they can hear me, though. Wow. Okay. Well, damn. What's your deal, guys? Jerem told me about the door he went through to get here. What's going on? Had to pry, didn't you? Calm down, Kel. Stranger, can we convince you to leave this alone? Please, for the sake of our family. If Jerem finds out, I'm terrified to think what will happen. I just want to know what's going on here. I won't tell anyone. Maybe you're true to your word, and maybe you're not. The more we argue, the more likely Jerem will overhear. Jerem got here through the House of Empty Time. He comes from Sagus, like us, only centuries in the past. That's why his speech is different, why he remembers places that aren't here anymore. Keep this to yourself. We'll tell him ourselves when we find a kind way of letting a child know that everyone he knows and loves is long dead in dust. And then she says, I'll kick the skist out of him if he breaks my little boy's heart. Alright, let me see. Well, if I tell him he can't go back, it doesn't look like he can reverse the process. So if I tell him, then it means he's just going to have a bunch of dead parents. Deserving to know the truth, I don't... No, I'm not going to tell him. These people look like they'll be good parents for him. Thank you for understanding. Tell me more about the House of Empty Time. We don't know any more than we told you. Find the house's keeper and ask her. Her name was Alcon Perry, keeper of the House of Empty Time. You might find her in Government Square. Thank you, Kel. I couldn't hold on to a name if it was buried in a bag of shins. Anyway, the very moment we decided to adopt, she was knocking on our door. We were nervous, but you can't argue with the results. Alright. I didn't want to tell him. That was unnecessary to me. Myriad statues at various stages of completion, each featuring a figure that leaves you with a feeling of profound disquiet when you look at it.
You got it.
Alright. In several of the pieces, the creature depicted appears to almost lunge out of the stone, almost as if hurtling itself at the sculptor. Perhaps that's why they were left unfinished. Okay.
All right.
What about here? Canopied wagon beds lie forlornly against the wall. Bereft of axles or any other means of locomotion, they don't appear to be going anywhere soon. Okay. What's this deal? Slavery? Don't talk to me, talk to the boss. Oh, slavers, huh? Alright, let me talk to these merchants and then deal with the slaver. Then I want to go back and I want to check out that stage. I think I remember doing the stage when I played this last year.
All right.
Whoops, no, I said I was going to do the merchants first. This portly man's cracked and bleeding hands are always moving, picking fretfully at his thick lips, running through his thinning hair, or molding aimless shapes in the air. His clothes are marked with paint, dust, dried blood, and clay. His eyes brim with frustrated tears as he studies the strangely familiar sculptures arrayed about him. A soul like slivers of ice. Fingertips long, shriveled, sharp. Screams trapped in flesh. She holds him in place. She's killing him. He's not looking at her. Why? Why isn't he afraid? No. What am I not seeing? What am I missing? Who was he? What was he feeling? Without that I can do nothing. What's wrong? Everything. Every detail is almost right, which means everything is wrong. I am Zeofi, stone carver, sculptor, divine painter of living eyes, and in this challenge, my greatest work, my talent has finally abandoned me. Behold my art, wanderer. Witness these dull stumps, these crude replicas of a sublime being. What is it you think I've made? Let me try to recall whether the sculptures look familiar. This might be useful. You stare at the sculptures. Your memories flow into its sweeping curves, teasing you with what you've seen in your short life and beyond. Yes, the towering thing is the true form of the creature that pursues you. Zeofi has sculpted the sorrow. You don't realize that you've spoken aloud until you hear Zeofi's gasp and see the tears in his eyes. Yes, sorrow, or even grief, is present in the work. I feel it. But where? I cannot pull it from the stone. I saw this creature on a cold night not long ago. Smoking coronas of blackened light drew me to my window. And there, on the street below, was she, gripping a man in her talons. Before my very eyes, she ripped his essence from him, leaving him a steaming husk. But what do you care? You don't grasp the importance of capturing such a subject? Of course I do. She is mysterious and fascinating. I've seen aspects of her. Maybe I can help you capture the details. You think I'm trying to sculpt the killer? Of course I am. I've succeeded, in fact. She's beauty and vengeance incarnate. What artist worth his metal couldn't capture such a being? But she doesn't need to be remembered. How could anyone forget such a lethal creature? No, the source of my ruin is this damnable man. He stared eternity in the face and did not blink. But he will be forgotten unless I capture him here, and I cannot do that unless I know what drove him. The moment he fell, I ran for the street, but the Dendradoer claimed his body and took it away, probably to their foul chapel and underbelly. Now I'll never know who he was. How many statues of this being have you made? This is an interesting side quest. Ha! If only my efforts could be limited so. I've sculpted that blasted moment in marble, granite, and clay. I've painted it in oil and blood. It even follows me into sleep, where I weave the scene from clouds and dream stuff. Even those were flawed. Anything else you can remember about the creature that killed your subject? What a surprise. Yes, let us ignore the incandescent flare of this stranger's brief life and focus on his murderer. She's so much more glamorous. That's what you want, isn't it? That's what everyone wants. Like so many wants flash and flourish, but humanity is what truly inspires. No, I want to see this moment fully, to understand why it inspires you so much. Oh, of course. I captured her as I saw her, perfectly. See the dexterous overlong fingers, the flesh formed of shrieking prey? But there is more to that moment than even I could capture here. In studying her from my window, I knew that she did not belong in our world, and yet I could not help but see her there as though she was forcing me to accept her presence. To look upon her as to see death made flesh, and yet her victim saw her and did not flee. Why? What granted him such bravery when we lesser creatures cower at the coming of the night? Tell me about the Dendrohor. They're a cult and a curse. They would have you believe they exist to preserve the great works of humanity, to celebrate life. You may even believe them until you smell their breath. The truth is that they squat in their underbelly chapel eating corpses and claiming it gives them power. If I learn anything about your subject, I'll let you know. Alright, I got a quest. I got me a quest. My first quest, people. Well, my first side quest. What about you, merchant? Razor sharp regret or dull remorse? Take your pick. We got one merchant up there. Apologies, I'm out of stock right now, but pre-orders are available. Pre-orders.
It's the plan.
Alright. Let's head up here and talk to Tol Magur. What up, you're a slaver? I hate you. As you approach, the wild-haired woman eyes you speculatively and whispers something to her companions. They burst out laughing and a slight smirk plays about her lips. A breathing mask dangles from a cord around her neck, and you can see where it has cut permanent grooves into her face. She ruffles her hair, messing it still further, and sings out, "Come to buy a slave, cast-off! If you come to me, you must want something of the sort!" He's a fresh one, I can smell it on him. How do you know I'm a cast-off? Who are you? You've come to me and you don't know who I am. I'm Tol Magur, one of the few licensed slavers around here. Criminals, outcasts, the unwanted. I take the dregs of society and I turn them into something useful. How do you manage that? Slavery's illegal in Sagus Cliffs, so I don't have slaves here. What I have is stock. Outside these walls, the sifters need something to sort through the drit and the creft to find useful numenera. Landowners need backs to till the fields, and in the bloom, the guides use criminals to open maws to new worlds and new opportunities. For all of these people, the term's not forever, and it's rarely fatal. It's a paying of debts, that's all. Anyway, my merry little band and I, we're glorified bounty hunters. We collect runaways, the broken, the useless, and we give them homes and a purpose. They got to work for a living. Well, unless they get sentenced to the bloom, but it's better than preying on the weak, eh? Better than the cast-off life. Yes, I know what you are. I have knowledge that might interest you. I'll part with it even. At a reasonable price, of course. What do you know about cast-offs? As I said, I've dealt with your kind. I know what you can do, what you're capable of. You're devious, cruel, manipulative people. I love how I'm hearing this from a slaver. I say this because I know you want my information. Now you know why I want payment up front. One of my wards has run off. She's taken a head wound. Not my doing, and I've been watching after her. I don't know where she's gone, but I suspect she's headed to Cliff's Edge. Plenty other urchins clamoring about the place, and she'd find it easy to blend in. Sadly, my troop and I are detained here, so we can't go ourselves. These lack nibblers are tired of hunting her. Damned girl hides well, too well. She's a scrawny child, name of Rin. Head wound, but it's covered by dark curly hair. Has a little necklace around her throat. Babbles about her gods. Go get her for me and I'll tell you what you wish to know. Answer a few other questions for me first. Fine. Can you tell me about yourself? I'm a slaver. I'm the last person you want to make an enemy. I got a reputation for coming through on my word. Nothing else need concern you. What can you tell me about the Order of Truth? You want to deal with them? Be my guest. Those pompous Aeon priests are up by Government Square. They think they can unlock the secrets of the past, but they are not focusing on what's most important, which is creating for the future. They say they're studying, learning, but the fact is they're not doing anything useful. Don't let them tell you otherwise. Okay, I had some questions about the cult of the changing god. Delusional meaning seekers. They spend their time chasing their imaginary deity, ignoring what it means to be alive. Oh, what's he done now, they say. Can I tongue his divine arse? As if knowing his life makes theirs any better. By studying his actions, I'm able to... Studying his life provides meaning to theirs. Who are you to judge? Who am I to judge? I'm just another person watching some dim globes waste their lives on a fruitless pursuit. They can follow that fraud all they like. Totally up to them. But don't expect me to cheer stupidity on. Some questions about slavery in Sega's Cliffs. It's not so bad. Not horrific. Almost no one sells them for parts anymore. Oh my god. Fact is, most of them go down to the Bloom where they can work off their debt to society by opening a maw or two. It's not a forever thing. It's a punishment. Oh yeah, I'm sure. Some questions about Sega's Cliffs. Ask someone who cares. I think the city's a sewer. Alright, farewell. Well, I am not going to catch anyone for you. Ever. You forgot to do it in the accent, TX. Alright. Talk to the boss, right? We stash slaves here, we don't sell them. The ones down below are bound for the Bloom.
Doing it now.
Alright. It's time to find out what's going on over here. Hey, what's up, Lovelust? Hello, Loveluster. What's going on? Loveluster's going to be coming to you at the top of the hour, by the way, folks. In about 45 minutes, she is going to be playing Shadowrun Returns by one of my favorite game companies, Harebrained Schemes. You guys should definitely check that out. What's a little slavery training between friends? It's true, Sparkly. I don't know what I'm thinking about. I'm sure it's actually benign. I'm sure there's no problem with it whatsoever. At all.
On my way.
Intrigued woman, horrified man, unmoved. Who are you? Pacing the edges of the crowd is a paunchy old soldier with a swaggering stride. At the moment, however, his jauntiness seems overshadowed by worry, and he alternates between watching the execution and searching the crowd as if looking for a miracle. Then his eyes light on you. I've never seen his face before. This might just be the break I need, yeah? What is
I
it?
say, you look like someone who believes in justice. How'd you like to help a poor soul wrongfully condemned?
That has got to be Lantry's voice. Can someone check that for me? That has got to be the voice of Lantry from Tyranny that I've been playing. That's got to be Lantry's voice actor. Can someone check and see if Tibir is the same voice actor as Lantry? It's got to be. What kind of help do you need? I don't need anything. But my friend there on the platform is dying. The nightmares his executioners have induced in him spill from him with every word he speaks and wrap around him like a snake. I know there are but a few strands around him now, but in a few days' time they'll choke the life out of him. I cannot imagine a more horrible way to die. Well, that's not true. I have an imagination that would shame a sailor. Wow. Sparkly, really? Wow. Wow. You'll need to be swift and willing to hold justice above law, but there's a way to save him if you'll hear me out. Who are you? Captain Lanchin Tibir, retired. Extremely retired. Once a soldier of fortune, now it's plaything. But my story can wait. Saving Rissa's life comes first. Why is your friend being executed? A misunderstanding. Riss and I were hired to deliver some expensive brandy to an out-of-town buyer. Would you believe that the bottles were stuffed with state secrets? Riss was accused of selling information to the enemies of Sega's Cliffs. They called him a traitor. This sounds like a totally credible story. Seems legit. It was a travesty. The poor lad had no idea what was in there. If he'd known, he might have escaped, too. Then we wouldn't be in this mess. But you did, right? Well, there's a place for talking about what I know and what I don't. This isn't that place, so this bastard knew. Really? DC Douglas is Lantry's name? It sounds just like him. I don't know. Sean Crisden. Wow. I'm surprised. They sound a lot alike. Okay. Wow. If you were part of the scheme, why aren't you up there with him? Luck? I was taking a piss when they came for him. Went through the back window and scampered up to the roof. I watched poor Riss being led away from my hiding spot. Swore I'd get him free. I hope it's a promise I can keep. Why are you helping Riss? Is friendship not reason enough? Actually, truth to tell, there's more to it than that. I'm partly to blame for him being up there, and guilt's a strong motivator, eh? I want to talk to your friend. Are you mad? It's an execution. He's surrounded by levies. They won't let you near him. And even if they did, he's out of his head. You'll get nothing but gibberish from him. And if he doesn't speak gibberish... No, best to assume it's gibberish. Yeah, I did ask about Tibir. Sean Crisden. Yeah, thanks, Sparkly. Still want to try, because I can read his thoughts. As you wish. Just don't say I didn't warn you. The levies are not to be trifled with. What's your plan? A simple one, but it requires nerve. Listen. It will be nothing for someone of your noble demeanor to masquerade as a city official and ask the council clerk for an archived copy of an old stay of execution. Once you have it, I'll write out a fresh one and add Riss's name. Then we'll present it to the overseer here, and poor Riss will be set free. There you have it, a foolproof, risk-free plan. Sounds like an extremely risky plan. Nonsense, it couldn't be simpler. Just be calm, confident, and wear a winning smile. He gives you a winning smile. It's good stuff. Where do I find the council clerk? Oh yeah? He'd be in Government Square, of course. There's a podium outside the council tower. I can't think of a time he wasn't there. Would it be similar to talk to the crowd at the execution? Convince them to rise up and free Riss? Rise up! All of a sudden I just start rapping from Hamilton. Alexander Hamilton, my name is the Lost Cast-Off, and there's a million things I haven't done, but just you wait, just you wait. Okay. Well, you're welcome to try, friend, but leave me out of it. Sagus Cliff's crowds are notoriously bloodthirsty, and execution officials are not known for their sense of humor. You might regret it later. You'd be alone when you did. Too many unknowns in a scheme like that. Not enough escape routes. Okay, I'll help you. Excellent! And you'll need a proper story and a badge of office. Fortunately, I have the first, and you can buy the second from Sangolin, the clothing merchant in Government Square. Takes the winning smile. Once you have a badge of office, you'll tell the council clerk you're from the Judicial Oversight Committee, looking into corruption and the commutation of capital sentences. The stay you're asking for is that of a notorious gangster named Cole Cardin, it sounds like a Star Wars name, who was mysteriously set free a few years ago. Oh, really? When you get Cole's stay of execution, I'll make a copy with Riss's name on it, and you can give it to the overseer who will free him. I keep not seeing any other real portraits. You see? Simple. Now, if you'll let me join you, I'll be happy to show you around the city and help you with all this, and whatever else you have going. What do you say? Thanks, I could use the help. It'll be my pleasure, but let's hurry. It's not a moment to lose. Riss hasn't much time. Stay of execution. Alright, what's your story, Morning Glory? Broadsword. Okay. Alright. What else we got? What's up, Levy? Levi! This man is large and broad-shouldered, and his steel armor is painted in the silver and indigo colors of Sagus Cliffs. He seems to be an ordinary soldier or constable of the city. Too ordinary, perhaps. As you scan his face, you see that his features are plain, forgettable, almost generic. Not only that, his eyes are a little too large. He looks a little bit like Mark Ruffalo, yeah? A smile too firmly fixed upon his face. He may look human, but his mind feels like a complete blank. Are you with the City Watch? You must be a stranger to the city. Perhaps from one of the Autochthonous tribes. Autochthonous, wow. Autochthonous tribes along the frontier? Allow me to welcome to Sagus Cliffs, visitor. I am a levy. You may rely upon me and others like me for protection and assistance at the discretion of the council and the slave families. Examine this guy carefully. If you saw the face of this man on the streets of a city, you wouldn't glance at him twice. His features are utterly ordinary and forgettable, not too ugly, not too handsome. It is indeed almost like he is an average of many thousands of men, their idiosyncrasies and imperfections merged into a bland middle ground. The exceptions, of course, are the eyes, which are just a bit too large for the face, and the fixed, ever-present smile. Taken together, the man's features give you a vague sense of unease. What's happening here? Yeah, there's a lot of reading for sure, Henny. A lot of reading. I better not be garbled. I should sound totally normal, as far as I can tell. This is Echo Machine. This is without the echo. Alright. I'd like to go... You call yourself a levy? What does that mean? Every citizen is required to raise a levy for the protection of the city. In times of war or strife, citizens are sometimes called upon to raise additional levies, but this has not been required since a dread destroyer crossed the northern frontier 34 years ago. Levies are raised by citizens? Yes. A year of life is taken from a citizen. The lost year is used to create a levy. Jesus, what? Oh my god. We just take a year of... Oh my... Woo! Alright then. That's why our lifespans are precisely 1 year long. When our spans are up, we degrade into our component manner. If you're curious about the process, I've been instructed to direct you to the Order of Truth, where you may observe the machine that is our parent. Wow. How much time do you have left before you degrade? 4 months, 7 days. Who are the counts on the slave families? Do they govern the city? It really is. It's really weird. Indeed so. Each slave family sends one representative, usually the head of the family, to sit in the council. We're required to follow their commands. So you really serve the council, not the people of the city? Yes, that is correct. Let's go up on the platform. I am privileged to inform you that you cannot. If you wish to discuss the matter further, please direct your inquiry to the official in charge. Wow, okay. This is a little weird because I can't really see spectator.
Done.
Unmoved woman. Why are you unmoved? Depressing. What exactly is happening here? Another in a long series of pointless executions? The poor bastard they're killing is put into a trance that makes him talk a lot of nonsense and spew that pink stuff. Eventually it crushes the life out of him and the big guy eats him. Disgusting. Okay, that's awful. I feel like someone should do something. Why is everyone just watching? LSD, the game. I know, right? It is very text heavy. I mean, the game, that Planescape Torment had a ton of reading also. Why is everybody watching this? It's what passes for entertainment in this town. People like to watch other people suffer. It takes their minds off their own suffering, I guess. That's not why I'm here, though. I just got sucked in. If you find it depressing, why are you watching it? I was just walking by. I don't know why I stopped, really. You stopped because you're a good person at heart. It moved you. Maybe it just did, but what does that matter? It can't be stopped, at least not by a nobody like me. I've seen you watching the crowd. You outnumber the levies 4-1. You just need a leader. Oh, yeah, I want this to work. I want this to work. Yes, I want it to work. Make it happen. A leader? I've never... No. You're right. That's why I'm here, and somebody has to do something. Why shouldn't that somebody be me? Why shouldn't I be the hero for once? I'm ready. Could I? Something about this man makes me feel like I could. What else we got? No crime deserves such a punishment. How can this be allowed? What exactly is happening here? A waking nightmare, though they call it an execution. The unfortunate victim is put into a trance that forces him to speak his nightmares. His words spill out of him as a rope of flesh which is wrapped around his body until it crushes him to death. And the indignity doesn't end when the poor wretch finally dies, for then the devourer of wrongs eats his flesh. It's not just, but what can be done? Everyone considers it tradition. Why is everybody watching this? They are animals. They find pleasure in cruelty. The horror of it will deter others from crime. Utter nonsense. Punishment for bad behavior won't change a man. Reward for good behavior is far more effective if that's what really matters to the authorities. This is nothing more than spectacle and amusement for the masses. If I had any courage, I wish people weren't so complacent that it wouldn't just be me. What if I joined you together? You're right, the practice needs to be... Let's see, together we give the city... Join me, let's put an end to it now. End it? Are you saying we should interrupt the execution? You said the punishment should not be allowed. Did you mean it? Can a just man stand by when injustice is the law? My friend, I'm a coward. I always have been, but you're right. If a man does not stand by his beliefs, what is he? I'll do it. I'm gonna save this in someplace new. Getting him riled. Okay. Now, the intrigued woman, what about you? Can you understand it? I know he's speaking great wisdom, if only I could decipher it. What exactly is happening here? An execution? They put the condemned into a trance and he speaks of the wondrous things he sees. His words become tendrils of corrupted flesh which are wrapped around his body until they crush him to death. Then the devourer of wrongs eats him. I think I nearly understood that last one. How's everybody watching this? Most are only thrill seekers and the morbidly curious, but some of us gather to hear the words of the condemned. They're said to contain the most sublime truths, for they are born from dreams of death. We listen and try to understand their meaning. What if I told you he was innocent? That would be terrible, wouldn't it? But his words seem so wise. Even if that word is wisdom true, it is wisdom gained through another man's pain. Can that even be called wisdom? I suppose you're right, but I still want to hear his words. Does it matter? He's going to die no matter what I do, and what he says could be important. As important as an innocent man's life? Help me save him. Wisdom can be gained without harming another. You shame me, friend. I have put my lust for knowledge before a good man's freedom. That is not the path to enlightenment. Perhaps your way is. I will do this. This man, he is truly wise. Ghost. Oh, man.
Of course.
Alright. We've got horrified, we've got the intrigued woman, spectator, unmoved woman, spectator, excited man. This has got to be the last one. I have to convince. Traitor! Traitor to the city! Nothing better than seeing a traitor die, aye? What exactly is happening here? Justice, the Sagas Cliff's way. We make traitors and murderers spill their guts, then strangle them with them. We also force them to speak their nightmares to scare other criminals into going straight. And if that doesn't do it, then knowing that the devourer of wrongs is going to cut your body after you die will. Makes me sick just thinking about it. I was so close to making a modern political comment, and I won't do it. He deserves it for betraying the greatest city in the world. Why is everybody watching this? To see justice done. If somebody hurts my city, I want to see them hurt twice as bad. And getting crushed to death by your own words is as bad as it gets. Do you truly care if he's a traitor, or do you just like watching men tortured to death? How dare you! It's justice that's important to me, and protecting my city. Then I think you'd be interested in making sure the real traitor gets caught. Are you saying this man isn't a traitor? That he doesn't deserve to be up there? What do you know that I don't? This poor fool took the fall for somebody else. That's a mockery of Saga's pride. We should free him. Okay. Stat pool is used. Aye. Us small fish are always taking the fall, but not this time. Free the prisoner! Free the prisoner! Let him go! Let him go! Let him go! Let him go! I saw what you did, you rabble-rouser. This is your doing. Well, I'm not risking my life to intervene in the fate of a worthless piece of belly trash. If you want him, take him. Unmake the prisoner's death and retreat. He isn't worth our blood. At his order, one of the levies takes out a device like a circular mirror and squeezes its frame. The mirror spins, flashing shards of light across the death, and the umbilical viscera it is wrapping around wrists, and all of it disintegrates. Sure, Duskalti, I'll do that. Can we caress the excited man? That might be a bad idea, the Grows. Who knows what'll happen. Soon Riss stands alone on the platform as reddish dust swirls away from him. I probably could have done that more authentically, but... There, satisfied? I'm not gonna like that. They're gonna come attack me later, but the truth is... I'll tell you why I did that. Number one, mechanically, I thought it was more fun to be able to convince each person in the crowd of something that would convince them of the differences. Basically, I had to do something different. One person, it was because wisdom isn't found through killing the innocent. Another person, it was because he just needed the courage to speak up. Another person, right, all that kind of stuff. And so I wanted to do something I thought was more interesting than just going and getting a document and doing it that way. The other thing is that I liked the idea that it actually has an effect on the populace, and that the populace may, in the future, then go out and sort of use that knowledge to their own benefit. This probably means that they're going to have... Never mind about the tab, okay. That probably means that they're going to, at some point, the overseers are going to come after me, to which I say, come at me, bro. Because, you know... If you're the one who got me out of that nightmare, thank you, but where's that... There you are, you slippery bastard. Now where's the money? If I went through that hell for nothing, I'll... Bastard left me out to dry, I know it. A whole day, Tibir. I spilled my guts up there for a whole day. Yes, about the money. You see, Riss, I was hoping to get a reward for turning in the fellow who sold us that brandy without telling us about its secrets, but... But? There's always a but when it comes to money, isn't there? I should have known. You only said you'd pay me so I wouldn't squeal on you, and you only saved my skin to save your own. Now, am I going to have to fight through your friend to get you, or are you going to step out from behind him and take it like a man? Calm down, both of you. Riss, tell it from the beginning. There isn't much to tell. Captain Silvertongue here talked me into a dirty job, then disappeared like an abacos and left me holding the bag when it all went sour. Oh, Riss. You blame me for running when I had a chance? You would have done the same. And besides, if I hadn't, we would have been both sentenced to die with no one to free either of us. Lucky that. If my tattooed friend hadn't come along, we'd both be executed in any case. Oh, yeah, I agree with that. I did notice that, Desculti. I thought that it was messy. I agree with you. I agree with you. That was also messy. I think it's largely because there's too much in each name. Like, it just has, like, the long underline, you know, thing. So I'll have to play around with that later and see if I can adjust that at all. I agree that that's a concern. You only wanted to free me because you'd be next on the block once the Devourer ate me. How would the Devourer of Wrongs know that Tibir was involved? The Dendro Whore consume our memories with our flesh. They know everything by the time they finished eating us, and Tibir knew I'd have plenty of memories of him, didn't you, you coward? Who are the Dendro Whore? Cultists who eat human flesh to gain the wisdom of the dead. The city's been using them as post-mortem judges for years. I like the idea of post-mortem. What was the job? Tibir said we were transporting black market booze to Murad Jolios, but he didn't tell me that he'd hidden state secrets in one of the bottles using some liquid Numenera trick, which turned a slap on the wrist crime into a damn death sentence. Death sentence? You're alive, aren't you? I'd have told him eventually. Ignorance was supposed to keep him safe. So it seems like Tibir was stupid, but not necessarily a, you know, bad guy, or he would have just bailed in this situation. That's as may be, but you certainly seem to know when the levies were going to come calling. The council somehow got wind of the deal and came after us. Funny how I was the only one home when they knocked on the door. The Devourer would have found you guilty, Tibir, is this true? As far as it goes. He would have learned about me if he'd eaten Riss, and I did manage to escape the levies when they showed up looking for us. But I didn't abandon you, lad. Riss, I escaped the levies and saved you from the Devourer of Wrongs because I love you and did not want to see you die. You have to believe me. Escaping the levies was just good luck, that much is true. See, his thoughts prove that he's telling the truth. Do it, Riss said, cracking his knuckles. I'm with Riss on this, Tibir. You should make amends to him. He's the one who has suffered here. That's right, and you can start by giving me my share of the spoils. Riss, you don't know what you're talking about. I never got paid, I promise you. This isn't over, you self-serving bastard. Hide behind your friend if you like, but he won't keep you safe forever. You're dead, Tibir. Do you hear me? Dead! Well, that was dumb. For him.
Of course.
Wow. He was stealing state secrets. Listen,
Sure.
I don't always think stealing state secrets makes you a bad guy. Depends on the state and the secrets. Okay, let me save that. Yeah. Let's save that under continuing. The font size doesn't affect it? Oh, man. All right, guys, we got about another 15 minutes or so, roughly speaking, and then I'm going to give way to Loveluster, who's going to be playing Shadowrun Returns, which is an awesome game. Just as a reminder, I will be, next week, I'll be going back to Tyranny. I'm going to be finishing up Tyranny over that session and maybe one more session, and then we'll go back to this game, and it will be D&D with GOG, and then this game for a while is going to be next up on Pen and Pixel, so. And yes, it does have a fully pacifist path. Exactly. I'm pretty sure those guys up there, that gets me into a fairly long convo, so let me talk to these ones first. Seer, just make it up as I go, pal. No worries, it's all in fun. Wow. Armors of wildly different materials are radiantly within the stall. From a distance, these books and scrolls appear to be haphazardly piled together, but closer up, small plaques with categories inscribed in them reveal an order to this seeming chaos. All right? Nearly every inch of this merchant's body is covered in tightly wound robes and furs. A hood obscures its head and a mask conceals its face. This doesn't stop you from noticing that it's apparently furious with you. Trembling, it bats at its similarly dressed companion. Both of them turn impassive masks back to you. Neither Felinda nor Staritzi could believe it, but the thief had come back. Had he come in shame, ready to return what he had taken? No, his hands were empty, his expression baffled. Perhaps the thief had simply forgotten to return what he had borrowed, but this made him no less a thief. Are you, narrating me? The thief said, no, trying to distract Felinda from the matter at hand. But the merchant would not be distracted. Besides, the merchant had been asked this question many times. Okay. 10 years ago, this thief had borrowed a book. Felinda wondered if the scoundrel was possibly unfamiliar with the definition of the word. It did not mean taking a thing and keeping it, after all. But in the end, Felinda took a deep, deep breath and asked the thief to simply return the sealed and long overdue book with a 5-colored sigil on its cover. How can you possibly remember who borrowed a book from you 10 years ago? The cunning thief said, hoping to arouse doubt in Felinda's mind. But the hope was a foolish one. Felinda was memory in the same way that the thief was fatty tissue, fluids, and chunks of calcium. Felinda was out of patience. Was the thief going to return the book or not? Can't promise anything, but I'll look for it. The thief muttered, ashamed, but Felinda was satisfied. Temporarily. Why do you narrate everything I say? The thief said, but Felinda knew from long experience that there was no explaining it. This frustrated Felinda. After all, the two merchants were creatures of words bound in metal and cloth, but whenever Felinda tried to bend these same words into explanations and answers, they crumbled and fell apart. They could not fold themselves around the truth. And so Felinda said nothing. And once again, Felinda was exonerated. The thief knew he was a thief. I like the fact that even the thoughts are being narrated. Why won't you tell me why you're narrating everything I say? The thief pleaded. He still did not understand that Felinda wasn't speaking, that what the thief was hearing was the passage of time. Oh! So this person that I'm talking to is in the future. Wow. All right, let me just unblow my mind there. So I'm talking to the person who is narrating their own past. Okay. Thoughts, Staritzi? Let's see, watch Staritzi work. The merchant's spread-fingered hands glide over a faded parchment with the faint sounds of quills scratching. Vibrant letters in an unfamiliar tongue appear in their wake. Watch for some more. Merchant again passes a hand over the page, and you hear the scrape of quill on paper. Dark letters emerge from the shadow of that hand as if pulled from beneath the page. Let's see more. Merchant again passes. More. Do this all day. Yeah, it's available there, simple developer. Alright. Never mind. Why is your partner narrating me? Why don't you talk? Why don't you talk? Alright. Scritch! Right.
On my way.
Let's see if I can actually buy anything from this guy. The sign over this stall says the arming room, buy, sell, trade. Under the awning, a skinny man with stooped shoulders and a concave chest is cleaning a filth-caked weapon of some kind. He salutes you with a greasy hand. Done in a moment. Have a look around. If you need anything, let me know. What can you tell me about Sega's Cliffs? Good place for the arms trade. Not much call for weapons in the city proper, it's true. The levies keep things quiet. I get most of my business from mercenary companies. The endless battle draws them by the dozens. Explorers, too. Plenty of carcass shave up their shins and kit themselves out all fancy-like. And they wander down the reef or into the bloom and never come back. Some people like to call them adventurers. I like to call them carkers. Show me what you have for sale. Alright. First of all, let's sell a couple things. So, does anybody know who's played this game? Do the oddities have any value besides just saleable things? Like, should I be keeping these oddities? Does anybody know? What's up, Jedi? Should I be saving these things, do you guys know, for like a... or not? Yeah, I mean, it just struck me that, like, I don't know, it could be really useful to, crossbow. I could use that. 5 physical damage. Blah, 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 blah. Buy that. One-handed or two-handed? One-handed. How about a shield? Okay. You're keeping them? Ah, Slorvigus. I have this... I really, really want to keep them, but I'm really nervous that there's no reason to do that. Stop doing that. Wonder if there's weapon sets. Go. Okay. I'm gonna guess that oddities are treasures. I'm gonna take a risk. Normally I would hold on to that stuff, but... How are we doing on time? 48. Alright, so I think I have time for one more of these encounters. Let's find out about this thing. Oh, they canned the floating ball of goo? Ah, that's too bad.
Why not?
Alright. This large, bald, broad-shouldered man turns to face you. You freeze. It's not his dark cloak or his sledgehammer. It's that beneath his mustache and goatee, he's so ugly that he'd scare his own mother in a dark alley. He gives you an abrupt nod, and you get the distinct impression that here stands a man who enjoys the boredom of standing guard in the company of his own thoughts. Slow day. Good. Nothing wrong with a slow day. Nothing to see here until you pay El Ginto. What's that thing in the cage? Nycthameron. El Ginto will tell you about it if that's what you want. How'd you capture it? Long story. Ask El Ginto. He's the talker. I watch the beast. How's that cage hold the creature prisoner? Don't know. El Ginto built it. Where do you and your partner come from? Lorik, a city in the beyond packed with blood-mad priests, giant razor cats, and drit. Lots of drit. I don't miss it, but El Ginto does. If you want stories, he's the one to ask. Says we're going back. Won't be a good day for Lorik if we do. Seems like El Jinto does all the work in your partnership. He should. He gets the larger share. I'm just the muscle. He's the handyman. He's handing at building stuff, wrangling extra shins from the gawkers, charming free food. He works hard. I pay him an extra share so I don't have to, so I have time to think. Where's El Jinto anyway? Jerks his chin. Okay, he's that guy. A few questions about the city. Ask somebody who lives here. We're not experts on any city we don't want to be. Looking for someone who can repair a device. We don't know anyone like that. We aren't from around here. Okay. That's exciting. Let's talk to El Jinto. Last guy of the day. Okay. In front of you is a weary traveler whose grim visage is mostly obscured by a pointy hat. Upon closer inspection, the lines on his face indicate he's seen much and has many tales to tell. Hello there, friend. Here to see the Nycthemeron? My friend in the cage over there? Or are you just looking to spend a word or two? Xanadu told me a little about your past. Do you have any interesting stories? Interesting. Well, I'll let you be the arbiter of that, friend. What would you like to hear about? Xanadu said you came from a place called Lorik. Ah, my former and future home. Xanadu and I were born in the gray outskirts of the city. I'd like to say we were childhood friends, but we weren't. We simply came to know each other through what we lost. The priests of the million gods of Lorik wandered the streets seeking sacrifices, you see, and opposing them is a sin. In our first 10 years, they claimed our parents than our friends. And then one day a pockmarked priest came for me. He hauled me up the glass-paved streets. I like that glass-paved. I wept and screamed, but the faithful and the fearful turned away. I'd almost lost hope when I heard the hammer scraping on the glass. Up charged Xanadu, bearing his father's sledgehammer. With a shout, he dashed the priest's brains from his skull, and we ran. We've been running ever since, but we'll return one day, I think. Armed for the occasion. It worked in the Nycthemerion. It has to work in Lorik, I know it will. Oh, so whatever he did to trap this thing, it's going to trap them. What happened after you escaped from Lorik? Years of struggle. Years without measure. After Lorik, we lived from meal to meal, eating only what we could steal. Xanadu grew into his strength, and I grew, but less obviously. I began studying, you see. I read ancient texts about my lost home and the sickness that possesses it to this day. I thought about how I could cure it. So we began exploring ruins. We sold the broken relics we found for food and equipment, kept the interesting ones for future study. To tell you of all the adventures we had in those days would take almost as many years as I've been alive, if not more. If that doesn't make sense to you, then you haven't traveled far into the depths of the beyond. Some of the ruins there lie outside time, and we searched countless places for the components I needed for my trap. Yes, the one our guest is contained in, and we headed east into the Clock of Kala. Lawminders, the Serach of your Kalak, the Iron Wind. We're multiply lucky to be alive. Where's the Clock of Kala? Or what's the Clock of Kala? A ring of mountains between here and the beyond. A land of glorious and lethal wonders. I'm looking forward to going through it again. We easily spent a decade searching the base of the peaks for the final parts of the trap. At last we heard a rumor. A horde of ghosts occasionally stampeded through the lands of Augur Kala bearing relics and smearing reality in their wake. This last detail was what interested me. I created a device, a bell of sorts that would attract the ghosts' attention. And when they came, there stood Xanadu, hammer ready. The bell drew them, you see, but it also made them more real. Xanadu waded into the ghosts, striking them down. The rest fled, but we found the materials I needed for the trap. The trap I'll use to capture a god. Beneath Lorik lies a mad being who demands the sacrifice of mothers, fathers, and children. Once we free our guest here, we'll return home with this trap. We'll use it to kidnap a god or die trying. Thank you for taking an interest in an old man's stories. I'd like to return the favor. Normally we charge quite a bit for visits to the Nycthemeron's cage. You, my friend, can see it for free. Looking for someone who can repair a complicated device. Must be in desperate shape if you're patrolling the circus talking to strangers. You have a piece of the device? Might be that I could offer my opinion. A new device, perhaps I could use to improve the trap. Here's a shard of crystal. Living crystal, seeking a greater whole. Still whole. Maybe alive, maybe thinking. Interesting piece of tech, but not one I know much about. Sorry, friend. Try asking around some more. Questions about Nycthemeron? He's far from mine, friend, as you'll likely see if you get too close to his cage. Go on, ask your questions. What is a Nycthemeron, anyway? A biomechanical union of stubborn curiosity and frothing malice. Who made them, no one can say, but they cannot be trusted or befriended. Cross their paths or thwart their incomprehensible whims, and they'll kill you if they can. Wait, you called the creature a he. Is it male? Could be. Could be female or genderless or many-gendered, who can say? I have our friend imprisoned, and I feel better about that fact if I don't call him it. How did you capture the creature? I suppose you could blame luck. A little early to call it good or bad, though. I was working on the trap we've spoken so much about in a valley through some nameless ruin. You guys saw that shadow that went across? That's cool. Xanadu was off hunting for dinner and I work in a daze. Always do and I'm concentrating. Near sunset, the trap was still in pieces and I heard Xanadu roaring my name. I turned just in time to see our guest bearing down on me. The creature's volley of molten energy cracked off the personal barrier I'd left active while building the trap, but I knew it couldn't hold. Then Xanadu leapt off the valley edge onto the Nycthemaron's back, bashing it with its hammer. It shrieked and then night fell and the creature went still. I worked a touch frantically, I admit, to finish the trap. Hadn't been designed for a guest, but as you can see, it worked. Lucky it did. Gives me a lot of confidence for our trip back to Lorik, too. How'd you get the creature into the city? A fair question, but a longer answer and not as interesting as I'd like. So let's just say the trap is more, collapsible than it appears. What do you plan on doing with the Nycthemaron when you're done showing it? We're likely to release it and run as if every kind of the demon in the world is after us. We're not trappers, see? We're explorers, and we're only in this to save up some coin for a journey across a long patch of ground. Hey, Law. Not that our motives make much difference to our guest. He'll want to boil our skins once we let him go, and I can't say I blame him. We should do it at night, but even then I expect he'll try to kill us. Okay, I think that's all. Too many, but I think I've wasted enough words on myself. You're still hungry for new stories. Xanadu deserves a turn. Ask him about his hammer. It deserves several epics of its own. Okay. So, the first thing, and I'm hoping you guys can help me with this. I have to give way now because it is Lovluster's turn, but I'm hoping that the next time we play, this is just going to be in a couple of weeks, the next time we play this, I want to ask Xanadu about his hammer first, and then kind of move on from there and do the thing with the Nycthemaron. I want to do that next. But that's not what we're going to do now because the time has finally come, folks, for Lovluster to join us with Shadowrun Returns. This is a lot of fun. So far, I'm very impressed with this game. I liked it a lot last year when I played the beta, but this is definitely tighter than when I played the beta for sure. It definitely is a lot more together, and I'm looking forward to playing it after I finish Tyranny, and next week, that's exactly what this is going to be. Tyranny is going to be next week, then Tyranny probably to finish up the week after, although maybe a little bit of D&D. I'm not sure. We have to schedule that first, but Tyranny is going to be finished up, and then we're going to be moving into Torment next. Tyranny, Torment, and then on from there is the plan. If you guys like what you saw and heard, please make sure to follow the channel, of course, GOG.com. Please sub to GOG.com. You get awesome emotes. You give money to charity, the Able Gamers charity. You make the channel grow. You do all kinds of awesome things. Somewhere an angel gets its wings. All kinds of things happen if you support the channel. Please also support us individually as well. We have all of our individual channels. I noticed some of you followed me tonight. That's wonderful. Thank you so much. We also have our individual things. I have a Patreon that I do stuff with. We have some of us are partnered and have Patreons and stuff. So please check us out individually as well. I'm going to be giving way now to Lovluster. Next time I'll be at you guys will be probably on Friday back on my channel when I'm going to be trying to wrap up Dishonored 2. Also, we have been doing some creative writing streams working on my next novel. So I've been doing that as well. You guys can stop by for that. Or you can see me here a week from today for episode 71 of Pen and Pixels, where we will continue to hopefully almost wrap up, session or two left, of Tyranny. But right now, stick around for Lovluster, who is going to be playing Shadowrun Returns by a awesome sauce company. Thanks, everybody. Love you all. Catch you all very soon, and I will see you in the very near future from this very cool game. But my verdict on this so far, Torment, 2 thumbs up. Really like it. Catch you all soon. Have a good one. Good night.